it's like the candles, boy. We're going drag racing.
Right.
Let's go. I mean, that's the way it was. I mean,
this is why.
And you know what? And that's the way. And that's the way I always look at it.
Welcome, race fans, to Watermelons and Woodchips, episode 37, special stock car edition inspired by the flying electrician, Jason Van Sickle. To my left, Josh Reynolds. Farther down, Steve Jackson, an all-time great. And then down there at the end, Jonathan Logue.
Boys, I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I kind of kept it under wraps, but I did have a few people get it out of me who we were having on, but I'm super excited to have you here, Steve. It's been a number of years. When I came into the sport, you were in the middle of, I say, heyday, basically. You were the man in a stock car, so. And this guy, he's been watching you since he was in diapers.
I was out at the shop today, and Dad's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, we're going to go have a podcast with Steve Jackson." He goes, "Oh, that's going to be good, you know." And I'm like, "Hey, bud, if we're going to have one 5-time, we got to have the only other one in the country.
That's right.
Come on the show." And Steve, I truly, truly can't thank you enough for coming up and doing this with us. I think there's a lot of Steve Jackson fans out there that, you know, I watched what Steve Jackson's been doing, and I'm 37, so I know I don't know when you started, but I can't wait to find out.
It's been a few years.
It's been a couple. Yeah. We should cover the fact that Coty's not here.
At another baseball game, can't be at the podcast today, but really bummed out that I can't be there with the stock car legend, Steve Jackson. Would be really, really cool to sit down and have a conversation with him, but I'm sure Jonathan will have plenty of good things to ask him, and Josh will probably fanboy a little bit, but yeah, missing out tonight, but we got another baseball game coming up here, so got to take care of that, take care of business here.
Yes, I am emceeing for Coty this evening. He's at the ball field with the boys still.
So once again, now Steve and I are outnumbered by Reds because we got two on the end. We got Garrett behind the camera, so it's a little troublesome, but we'll get through it. I think.
Yes.
We will.
Yeah. But we can just quickly kind of lead over, you know, for people that may not know Steve Jackson. Probably most people do, but you're a 5-time Super National winner in the stock car. You know, multiple national championships. You're a Boone Speedway track champ, Oski champ, Stewart champ, Des Moines when it was still open. You know, all those things. You know, so I don't really know where to start. That's quite the list, truthfully. So you pick your starting point. I mean, you want to, you know, where you started, or you know, you want to jump right into the heyday, or
like where did Steve Jackson start racing, and where did you come up with your number?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, you know, the number deal got it. My dad raced back in the late 60s, early 70s, and we used to go to Des Moines, and I got to finally meet my hero when I was got into the All Iowa Hall of Fame.
Who is?
Kurt Hansen.
Kurt Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
He was my man. I mean, when I was a kid, we go to the races at Des Moines. I mean, you know, you talk about heydays. I mean, I can remember when I was a kid, you know, we'd get there at 5:30 because they would fill.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember my dad's very good friend and ended up later being my uncle, Glenn Woodard. He told me one time, he said, I remember getting up and reading that newspaper. It said, Joe Merrifield and Glenn Woodard won in front of more than 10,000 people.
Holy cow.
They had that grandstand packed back in that days.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But anyway, we get there early, and my mom would give us, me and my brother, $1 and say, here you go. When it's gone, it's gone. There's a couple times, man, I'd run down. Back then, you know, you get a Coke for a quarter, and a hot dog was a quarter, and I had that 50 cents. Well, down in front, they had a bunch of guys that drank beer and that down in the front. And come feature time, you know, I'd run down there and they'd be all placing bets and everything. I'd say, hey, I bet on Kurt Hansen. Oh, he ain't going to win. Oh, yeah, here's 50 cents. Well, you know, I would win, and next day I go to next Friday we go to Des Moines. I had $1 already. You know, but yeah, he was my hero, and everybody thought I was going to go with that number, but my dad had the number 2. Okay. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but when I first started, I put in for number 2. Well, IMCA at the time they called me up, and Bill Hagelin called me up and said, hey, somebody else has got number 2 already. I said, well, does he race Boone? And no, but we can only have one number 2. I'm like, oh, okay.
What?
And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. You got to remember, this is, you guys are like, what? Well, this is nowadays. I mean, you got to go back in time, man.
Yeah.
And so then I got thinking there, and I said, well, can I just be 2J? And he goes, I don't know. Nobody's ever done that. So let me get with Keith Knack, and I'll call you back. So a day later, he calls me back. He says, yeah, you could be 2J. Yeah, you could put because a lot of people back then, they'd put an X behind their number if they went somewhere else and that. So I guess that's where the letters started coming.
No kidding.
Add it to the Steve Jackson resume of starting the letters for your number. Wow.
Yeah, and it ended up being some kid down in Oskaloosa had it. I don't remember the name, but he was the number 2. So.
You had to apply for your number, basically.
Yes, you had to apply for the number in your class and that, and then they'd call you back if somebody had it. And
That's
changed
crazy.
it. And so then
what year? Yeah. So when was it?
Yeah.
What year was it you started racing?
I started racing just right after dirt.
Just right after.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
No, that would have been 1986.
Okay.
2 years before I was thought of.
Yep. I was 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
wasn't even a thought yet.
I was guessing because my dad asked. He goes, "How long?" I'm like, "Gosh, dang, I don't know," because my dad did 35 years.
Yep, I'm doing 40 this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
We talk about Denny Pittman. Remember?
Denny
Pittman?
I know Denny.
All the way from Jamaica, Iowa.
Yeah, all the way from Jamaica.
Yeah. He's 70. I think he's 75.
Is he in his 70s?
He's in his 70s.
He's got to be. Denny's
We
got to
have
be
the
up there.
technology.
He doesn't
he's
look
gotta
that
be-
old.
no.
He doesn't.
Oh,
He doesn't.
man, he's
and
aged well.
Still racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah, I
racing
see his
sport
name in
mod.
there.
And it's like, that was somebody I watched too,
Yeah.
and it's like you get out there and you're racing with you guys, and it's like, don't run into him, it's just a really, really cool thing.
Yeah.
So 40 plus years of racing for Steve Jackson. Man, I mean, we were talking before the show, your dad has kept all of your books and your notebooks. Someday, if your kid decides that he wants to throw those away, I'd gladly take him to my shop.
We'll take him. We'll take him for the archives.
Take him for the archives.
We will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Or, there's a lot of that cool stuff going on. Have you been up to the museum in Algona?
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it an awesome thing?
Yeah. I got some stuff I got to take up there. I told him that I would. I still got my. Of course, age defies you. But I do have my. I still have my uniform and the helmet that I wore when I won my 5th Super Nationals.
Really?
Yeah, and I think I want to take that up there and
That is cool.
Incredible.
donate that to him.
Yeah.
That is
awesome.
cool as shit.
Yep.
There's so many cool. I think Marty said there's over 84,000 pictures up there.
Oh, yeah,
it's insane.
You talked about my pit man, Gordon Malone. Well, his dad, Dean, for years, I mean, back when my dad raced, he was taking photos. But, all of his stuff that he had, that house was amazing. I mean, you go in there and it was just lined up with shelving and books, photo albums after photo. It had dates, what year and what track and everything that he had photos from. Wow. And I mean, there was boxes among boxes of photos of different drivers that all went up there.
Well, Bruce
a lot of
Badgley.
history. Yes, Bruce took them out. Yep.
He was on the show last week.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago, excuse me.
Yeah.
And he talked about how, Dean helped him
Get
along
started.
the way, and that he goes, I could go up right now and pull out if you told me a year or whatever, because he knew how Dean placed all of his stuff. It was so cool.
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Like, I thought, okay, yeah, these guys are just going to the racetrack and taking 800 pictures a night, like whatever. It's pretty cool. They're getting cool shots, but when Bruce kind of explained what they do and why they do it and how they do it, it was just a different perspective of appreciating the photographer.
Exactly.
I mean, they catch some pretty cool shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's an art.
Yep.
It really is an art. Like track photographers, in my opinion, have always been like, they're the ones like they have a niche like knack for finding like, oh, like this would make a really cool picture.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Zip, like Jim Zimmerline, he's always got cool ones too. And Bruce too. Like they always find these niche spots. And like, I remember, I don't know how long ago it was, but Jim Zimmerline on the backstretch on the entrance of turn 3 at Stewart, like out past the barricades, like up in the weeds, like you could just see him popping over the fence or the concrete barrier, like taking pictures down the back straightaway. Like they have it's a knack like for catching like cool shots like that.
Back where you don't want to be if Wiley Shumis is coming out of turn 2.
Yeah. Yes.
Look out.
Oh,
well,
man.
it's just crazy though that Dean being close to you and stuff, and how Bruce, we were just talking about it, you know. And
that's cool.
Gosh dang, I can't believe my dad gives me a hard time all the time too. He's like, man, you really need to. I have all my Super National winning helmets, my suits, because it's like sometimes you give it away or you donate it to a charity. Like I bought one of Ricky Thornton Jr.'s suits that he changed the Lucas Oil did. It's in my living room right now. Like, but someday he might, which Ricky has a shit ton of suits, but he might be like, oh man.
He might want one back eventually.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and so I admire the fact that you still have that stuff. Because I do too. And my dad's like, man, which he lost a lot in a fire. We had a fire.
I remember that. Yeah. I heard about it.
You know what, Dad? I know he listens to the show all the time. Yeah. Steve was telling me some pretty interesting stories. We're going to have a dinner over here real shortly. And I'll tell you, because there were some barn burners. I'm like, man. But.
Well, hey, if we ever get to pull off the Super Nationals Winners Roundtable event that we've talked about, we might get to see some of those stories come out right then and there.
Well, we talked about these guys that have been multiple champions, Jeff Anderson, yourself, my dad, some of the guys that have won it multiple times or might be the only winner that have either won it back-to-back or 3 times in a row or whatever that case is. We just kind of thought that'd be kind
of cool.
A unique deal. Jeff Ike, getting him in here, boy, that might be scary.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He's going to be on mute half the time.
Right. So you choose your number. They let you have the 2J, and this is, you're in a stock car, or is this a hobby stock?
It's a stock car.
Stock car.
Yep. Started out right out in the stock cars, yes.
And so what kind of chassis? We know you were an SCS guy, but was it an SCS?
Yes, sir.
So you've only ever raced an SCS car?
Pretty much
through your prime.
Yep, pretty much all of it. Yeah, it was SCS.
That's awesome.
So you get, as we were talking earlier before the show, you were, you got a 9 to 5 job or 8 to 5, whatever it is. And you're taking off from work and going and working at SCS and building your own race cars. Working.
Yeah, building other people's race cars. Yeah, other drivers and that. We would build, I don't know.
Well, how'd you get hooked up with Steve?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, he built my first stock car. It was a 74 Chevelle. And, well, man, two-door Chevelle, would that be nice on the road right now?
You look back and you're like, man, what a good car going to waste.
I know. But anyway, so he built that car, and I ran it for 2 seasons. And then the G-bodies came out. And actually, they came out the year before. Rick Gustin had one. And he was pretty much, he was the guy that, everybody looked up to. And the guy, I learned more following that guy on the racetrack than probably anybody else, and I could see why his kids, if they're half the talent that guy was, that's why they're pretty good kids, but behind the wheel. But anyway, so along comes the '88 season, and I got a track championship under my belt, I'm the cock of the walk, So I thought.
I told the guys, I'm like, I hope Steve brings the fucking bandana, because like when I could start going to the pits, I'm like, this guy pulls in, not with his race car, comes walking in with his bag, got the bandana going, don't hot lap, walks over, gets in the car on the trailer, straps in, helmet on, backs off, staging area, wins.
Just like that.
I could see the. I'm just saying, it's my dad had a lot of success in the modifieds, and that was like, you always pay attention to the guys that are running good because of how they drive or whatever. So Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just like,
No, you're good. So yeah, I walked out. We went down to Shannon's and I took the car down. I said, "Hey, I need you to build me a new stock car." And he goes, "What are you gonna do with that?" And I said, "Well, I think we're just gonna go out and race it and win the national points." It's first year for national points. He looked at me. He goes, "You're pretty cocky, kid." And I goes, "Well, I don't know about that, but I got some confidence behind me." I said, "You never know. I was just got as good a chance as anybody else."
right?
And I, he reminded me of that when I started working for him. Then his business, I won that '88 Super Nationals, and I was fortunate enough to do that. I was fortunate enough to win the national championship. Thank goodness, covered my butt on that deal. But, and then
So hold
we
on,
went
man.
down.
Hold on, man.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to interrupt you here for real quick.
I know
so
where you're
you're
gonna
telling
go.
me the first year that you race,
no, this would have been
an
my
SCS car, right?
would have been my Chevelle. I raced 2 years.
So 2 years, you go out and win the national title and win the Super Nationals in the same year.
After my second year in racing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
And the
beside
first
that.
ever IMCA stock car national title?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was
Really?
Yep. That was the first year that they had the stock car national points and also had us at the Super Nationals.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first year.
Where
awesome.
was the Super Nationals that year? Do you remember?
Yeah, same place it is today.
Yeah.
That was the first year at Boone, too, I think,
Yeah,
wasn't
first
it?
that
year
was
at
the
Boone.
first year at Boone. Wow. Yes.
A lot
Because
of
it-
firsts.
Yep, a lot
Right.
of firsts there. Yeah,
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, a lot of firsts. A lot
Wow.
of firsts.
So-
So then his resume happened, and then of course, then now, everybody's got to have an SCS car. You know how it is in racing.
Yep.
Monkey see, monkey do. And so he called me, and when he built that, we built that car. There was a lot of things that he didn't do. He did the cage and that kind of stuff, but he never mounted the seat, never had radiator mounts in it, none of that kind of stuff. So, and we had to do all that from scratch, me and my dad. So I took that knowledge with me over there, and then we started working on them and started pumping them out the door, kind of like you now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
probably do. I don't know. I bet I'd have to ask Steve, but it seemed like we built 20, 30 cars a year.
Right.
In the
Right.
winter.
Well,
that was wintertime. That would have been, I don't know. I think we started, it was always, it always ticked me off because he always started me in November, right during rut,
You're right. Yeah, you're kidding.
So anyway, a lot of people don't know what that is. But we're talking about bow hunting.
Yep.
But anyway, so and I'd start there, and I would work clear up till racing season started. Yeah. Wow.
Did they not build during racing season then, or was that repair time?
And that was just repair time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still worked. Yeah, even
Sure.
there, and somebody piled it up, and he called me up and said, "Hey, look, we got to put a stub on one.
Plenty to do.
I'll see you tomorrow." All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we was doing that. Plus, here's the thing: what you guys got to understand: 40-hour week job, racing 4 nights a week, fixing people's cars.
Uh-huh. You didn't have time for a whole lot else, did you?
I think I slept once in a while.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, and we were talking
yeah.
about this too, with like a lot of the racers back in them days either had a mechanic shop or they owned a mechanic shop, or they had, there wasn't like there is now where there's like, okay, you had SCS, you had Jet, you had Dirtworks and Harris. There were like main race car companies, and now you've got like 40 of them.
So
Little-
there's
little-
options out there.
Yeah,
a lot of options.
little spots,
Yep.
And that's where I've built every race car that we've ever raced, besides one, the very first rage car that I bought. And it's different, isn't it, when you can build your thing, and it can be the same as everybody else's. And it's not that you're doing something special, but it's just different.
It's different when you put in the work yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
I'd tell you how, and I think Steve can attest to this, how hard it is to go to work on your race car at the end of the night, go out and race with these people, and then have an altercation, not a bad one, but an incident on the racetrack where it tears your car up. So now you got to fix theirs, and you got to fix yours, and and you're getting claimed. We
Yep,
talked about.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna
You got to
say,
lose
like,
a couple motors in there, or 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Right. And so it just really means a lot, when you can, and I've been very fortunate to, and those opportunities arised in your career because you were putting the effort and stuff in there. And so I can really appreciate that. And so what's your expectations? I mean, now you're second year in, you win the Super Nationals, you win the national title. What's the third year look like for Steve Jackson? We're just going to keep racing and just keep going, it's just racing, you, your dad, and
me and my dad, my brother helped out, and then along about 92, Gordon Malone, we talked about
Gordon,
Dean, his boy, come and started helping me. He used to help out Denny Rosenberg. Yeah, he helped out old Rosenberg for a while, and then Denny came back to modified racing, and Gordon left me and went to race with Denny for a couple of years, and then I don't know, something happened there, which, Gordon come back, wanted to know if he could start helping me again, and I said, yeah, that's fine. He goes, well, me and Denny, and I said, hey, I don't get into that kind of stuff, no drama.
Right.
And so I don't really know what happened there, but anyway, and then it wasn't too long after I think Denny quit racing again, and kind of took it off from there, clear up till when he got sick in 2014, I think it was. Yeah. When he got
we
we
were talking about him because that's when he had the signal. I mean, he had a can of chew in his right front, and you got I'm like, man, I don't know what he was saying, but I was so fascinated on it. What he was doing and what you guys were doing on the racetrack. Like, that was my kid glory day stuff.
That's awesome. Were you on the catwalk watching that, or were you down at the trailer?
Yeah. So where the stairs are, we always stood. We always used to stand right there, and then he would stand down below in front of that big gate thing, man. And you could see him because he was a big boy.
Oh yeah, he's a big boy. He was what, 6'3", weighed about 350, 375.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
he's a big solid kid.
Big guy, and I don't know what he was saying, but I was just so like. I'm like on the track on him, on the track on him, on the track on him, because I mean, in your signal, man, we've talked about it before. They're 90% of the time. They're so good for you.
Yeah.
I could say 98% of the time. Yep. There's 2% of the time that they screw you because of they get a little jumpy with their signal or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, especially if you're leading and you're a sitting duck. But
I finally figured out why I wasn't worth a shit. I didn't have a signal guy.
That's correct.
That's what it was.
You gotta have a good one.
I guess you do. Hey, while we're in this era, you were working on cars, building yours.
Uh-huh.
Did you do anything to yours that you didn't do to anybody else's?
It was a long time ago, Steve.
It was.
That is a long time ago. That is a long time ago.
But we're like,
I mean, basically, they were the same. I mean, I changed. I was a fortunate Scott Kaiser. That name ring a bell to you?
Where does
Scott Kaiser?
That sounds familiar to me.
If I seen him, maybe, but
okay. Scott Kaiser used to work for AFCO.
Okay.
He was their spring and shock analyst, and that's who Shannon bought springs and shocks for. So I spent a year and a half on gas charged shocks before anybody else could even sniff them.
Couldn't even get them.
They didn't even have them out on the market yet.
Okay.
And I was getting them, and I mean, I tell you, it threw me for a loop. Because the old gas field shocks, that old fluid get hot and start going away. Mm-hmm. And I knew with my shock combination, my spring combination, I knew and I could feel my car when them shocks started fading. Yeah. And what to do to my car. I knew how to drive it different and what it took, I mean, I always got a kick out of a lot of them guys. We go somewhere and to be a special, oh man, we're running 25 laps, whatever. Lap 15, they're done. They've been beating that thing like a dried up horse, Yeah. Right. And we just sat, I just sat there and I'd set my pace. And that's what I was pacing a lot of times. A lot of times the guys come in and go, was you going as fast as you could? I said, no, I never wasn't going as fast as I could. Because I didn't want to waste that.
You don't want to use it up.
I didn't want to use that up. When people thought, oh, you're dirt track racer. No, I could feel it. I mean, I could actually feel that them shocks start getting away. So I'm going out and I'm setting this thing up. Well, these gas shocks, They don't go away, So, I'm too tight at the beginning of the race. I still can't turn at the end. And I'm like, this is not good. What's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. So we was talking with him and that and different charges and stuff like that. So, yeah, I kind of had a little bit of advantage for a couple years before that came out. But, as far as like actually changing things dramatically, no, nothing.
Like I think about X bracing under the car. Like there were a lot of years guys never did that. They just you just bolt in or you put in the 4-post and go for it. And even an engine hoop, that was a thing that wasn't a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And then one thing I always remember about your cars is the window opening. It looked like the window. When they started shortening up the cages and backing everything up, yours didn't. Yours stayed that way for the longest time, and I remember that. And it's one of those things that just stuck in my head. And I would see you go by, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. Look. Like, this guy is kicking everybody's ass, and he doesn't have that. And I always remembered that. And it's something that stuck with me. I think I remember the first time you showed up at a racetrack with a new body style and not the Regal. And I was like, whoa, Steve changed it up. Like, it was something like that. But that's just what made me want to ask that question is, just the way that the cars evolved from when you started.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Huge.
Yeah.
And I know Steve, they built them. They changed and evolved.
Yeah, we changed and evolved. Yeah, had to. Yeah, you had to keep up a certain amount with the times and with what rules they were letting you get away. So, there's certain things they let you get away with, certain things that you can't.
Yeah.
It's just like nowadays. You see these guys and they got the washers. These car manufacturers. Nothing against you, Johnny, but I'm sure you got the washers on the front because your control arm mounts are wallered out and this kind of stuff and that, I still got all the frame measurements. I can measure you up and tell you how far off you actually are if you ever want to know.
No kidding.
I got before you leave, I'm getting your phone number. I'm just saying.
But yeah, you could, there were certain things, guys would do. A lot of it is just, I was able to race, fortunate. A lot of guys, they'd race one night a week, and to race one night a week, I'm figuring that out now. Is and it's you got other priorities in life come along.
Yep.
And that one night a week, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It was easier. It seemed like it was easier for me to race 4 nights a week than what it was 2 or 3, or 1 or 2 even. It's the fact that you're in. I'm in that car. Constantly, all the time. We ran 4 nights a week plus. There was one day when we was digging through the deals. Dad says, "You realize we raced 13 nights and 14 days?"
Jeez.
I said, "We did." "Yeah, you won the Napa race here, and we went to the race here, and plus we raced the 4 nights a week that you was racing."
What's it like to just be
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? That's insane. Steve,
Yeah.
It was just, to be that, that's right there. Your stats just in them short amount of 2 years is better than Ricky Thornton Jr. is probably one of the greatest drivers that we've seen in our as far as a new day. Like nobody dominates like that anymore.
Yeah.
I just I took it a little different when I went out. You sat here and you got this written down in there. You said you're a 5-time Super National champ. Super National started out in 1988, and I ran through 2009. So what is that? 21 years?
21 years.
Okay. So I look at this. You know what I say? Do the math.
I lost
a lot more than what I won.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And that's the way I looked at it. Everybody said, "Oh, you did this, you did that." I said, "No, I didn't. I lost more than what I won." And that's what irritated me more than anything. I could sit back and, they say, "What's it like to win it 5 times?" That was all great and everything, but I look at the night that Bassett come along and they gave us a brand new set of wheels. They said, "Man, these are great and everything." And I put them on. I went out there and they dropped the green flag of the Super Nationals. I went into one, foot to the floor, dove that thing into one, passing Stoneburner for the lead. Bam! Rolled the right front tire. Denny Stoneburner got his Super National win.
1997.
and I'm going.
That
I'm
was
fuming
19 that was
I'm fuming in the pits,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat there with a smile on my face, but inside I am burning so bad. Oh, that's the things that got me, is I lost.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't. I mean, inside, I hated to lose.
Right.
I hated to lose. But if you won and you beat me, I come up, shake your hand, say, "Hey, good job."
Yeah.
And I go
Right.
back and I say, and I could tell you one. We was at Des Moines on a fair race, and Rick Brown got out in front, and I was trying to run him down, and I couldn't. And I was so angry. I mean, I'm like, two things: I lost, and to a Ford.
Oh boy.
Right.
Oh, I was mad. Fast forward to, I don't know, it was probably 3-4 weeks later. We get out there and we're racing, and Rick is at Des Moines and he's out to lunch. And I'm like, I got to catch this guy. So I start taking that thing down into one, and I turned at the flag stand. I started angling for the top of the middle of 1 and 2. And I drove that thing all the way there, lifted, jabbed the brake, threw the steering wheel sideways, and floored it, and ran down the bank and all the way back. And I ran him down. He was over straight away ahead. And I passed him with about 5 laps to go. And I thought, take that. But it's not, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at Rick or anything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to
Win.
I had to get revenge.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Because he beat me at my home track.
Right.
Des Moines.
Right.
Yeah.
At the fair race. And that, you know, but that was the personal side of me.
Yeah.
You know.
That-
But as far as, you know,
awesome.
would I, you know, yell and scream, you know, at the guys that, you know, hey, you know, we didn't win, blah blah. No.
Right.
No, but
Right.
that was just my personal feelings on my racing.
Kept your fire going.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. It burned. Wow. Yeah. And it was kind of crazy because it's like I never had that in the beginning, but you know, after in about 90, 91, I mean, there started to get to be a lot of race cars.
Yeah.
A lot of cars. You know, and so then, and the one that got me was, I guess it started about 88, I think, is they had we had won 3 nights in a row up at Eldora. And so they put a bounty on me. And I don't know if you know Dixon, Al Dixon.
Yeah.
He was, I think, is that Mark Elliott's wife? Was she a Dixon?
Was it? It wasn't the
Shauna?
Dixon racing chassis.
No.
Okay.
They
No.
were from right there around.
His
His name was Alan Dixon. He always drove what I remember, he had a Monte Carlo, like a 72 Monte Carlo body and an 03. And we ran down and it was coming for the checkered flag and going into 3, I rolled the right front tire. And he passed me. He got alongside me and passed me. And of course, you know, I left it to the wood, you know, and chased him down, but I tried to chase him down, and he ended up beating me and man, he come over and I mean, he was, you know, hey, good race. I said, yeah, good race. He goes, yeah, he said, everybody said you couldn't be beat. I beat you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't race to beat people. I just race to race because I want to win, you know.
Right.
He's talking about beating me, and then a couple guys come over and say, oh, Dixon's over there bragging about beating you and this and that. And I'm like, really? Is this how this game's played? Okay.
Right.
So I had to step it up a notch, and then after that, and then it started getting a little more. Yeah.
Well, you're the man.
Yeah,
we
that's
talk.
we're going somewhere.
Right. Well, guys, I think we're going to pause in the middle of this Steve Jackson Memorial Lane,
Right.
Memorial Lane here, because I'm like, holy shit. We got Adobe Pizza up here. We're gonna. We need to send it off. First of all, we need to thank our great partners, which is we got to thank Barntown Central Iowa Diesel Performance, our presenting sponsor here, the podcast. Moffitt's Ford, Houseby Trucking, of course, Farley's Wholesale Tire,
Adobe.
the Adobe Lounge, the Adobe Lounge.
We're
Power
about to
Rangers.
partake in some pizza from the Adobe.
Yes, we are about to partake in that, and when we come back, we're going to get back into why Steve Jackson chose stock cars back, and we're going to send it off to our partners here. You've been watching Watermelons and Woodchips.
Central Iowa Diesel Performance is a full-service preventative maintenance and truck repair center in Ames, Iowa. While they specialize in high-performance applications, they can do fleet repair, engine maintenance, transmission repair, or things such as brakes and electrical. Anything diesel truck related, Central Iowa Diesel Performance is your go-to shop. Check them out at www.centraliowadieselperformance.com.
At Moffitt's Ford, it's not just about selling cars. It's about taking care of our neighbors. For generations, families have trusted us for reliable vehicles, honest pricing, and service that feels like home. Whether it's a dependable F-150, a safe and spacious Explorer, or your next pre-owned vehicle, we're here to help you find the right fit. And long after you drive off the lot, we're still here with expert service you can count on. Stop by and see us today. Moffitt's Ford, home of the million-mile warranty.
Welcome back, race fans, Watermelons and Woodchips. We're here with Steve Jackson, one marketing partner that I neglected to catch, even though Jonathan did most of them. Elmquist Towing, thanks always to those people, too.
You bet. I said real quick before we get back in, because we got a lot to cover yet.
I know it.
And by the way, that pizza was amazing. So
Awesome. Yes, thank you,
really good.
Adobe Lounge.
Yep. All right, Steve would like to talk to John about Skornavacas. Maybe there's some competition there. Could you see these guys having a competition over something?
Well, before the show, it sounded like these my dad. I'm.
That's a part swapping going on.
That's what I'm saying. A little part swapping going on, and then Dad didn't let out of the gas, and
he was
looking at Steve, and I'm like,
him.
This is like OG shit here. Like, at Hazard County, of all places, we call it a Hazard County because of just Jefferson, you know.
Okay.
What a great thing. But what's absolutely phenomenal racing this weekend.
Yeah.
Not just at the Boone Speedway. It kind of got a washout on Friday night.
Yeah, that topless races have been a little bit unlucky. It's like I think one year they got them both in, but then it's been struck the last couple years missing at least one. So
yes, I messed with Matt. You know, we've been working on that airflow system deal. Got him tuned back in last week. He picked up a win. And I told him, I said, yeah, did you hear that? It's $2,000 for you guys to win tonight. He's like, oh, really? I didn't see nothing on it. You know, and I'm like, nah, I'm just kidding. Since they rained out Friday, I think that they should, push that over and just make it double it up.
They said they're gonna put it back out there. They're gonna do it again. It is
the topless at Marshalltown?
The one at Marshalltown.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, right on.
Try to
Reschedule.
They're gonna
right
reschedule.
On. You know what they should do is they should do a reschedule the night that the late models are there.
Oh, that'd be
the flow
something.
night, because they always have a support class.
That would be something.
Who's here?
I don't know.
Someone's here.
Did Coty make it? No way.
Oh, okay.
All right.
They
Well,
heard
it was
something.
the ghost of the building that we've heard about.
Might have been Dad's ghost.
Could have been.
Telling
Well,
you
you never know.
Yeah.
He did run the ghost for a while. But I do want to say, so the Mod Lights had a little vote, and they decided to go topless along with the big cars. And Colton said it when they pulled out on the track. I think they looked the best out of the three
They do.
topless. Because the other two, somebody said this to me a couple years ago, and I'll never not see it. They look like a bass boat.
They look like a John boat.
With the roof's gone, it's just a flat.
It's
you know,
just a sheet
this
of
flat
decking.
deck
That's
that
all
comes
it is.
along, and it's like, wow, I could see a guy standing there with a pole hanging off the side. So
It's such a different look.
it is way different.
It is. And Chris, when he come up with that deal for around here, we know the late model guys have been doing it for years. I thought it was very unique, and it is so different. Like Matt comes in after his heat race, and he's like, boy, I ain't been pelted with that much dirt like that for a long time, and it's like you wouldn't think just taking the roof off, because everything else still in front of you is open. But just your like you go up. I like going up and talking to people without the roofs on, because you're like standing down to them, like, yeah, talking, like instead of like this, So it just cracks me up. It's like you're fist bumping through the roof, good luck or whatever. But what a great show. The Sport Mod show was
That was really
magnificent.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
I've always kind of thought that, especially with the way the cars are now, and you could speak to this better, like you've been in a sport mod more recently, but like you don't think about the aero dependency that you have with the roof on or off. Because, like, you still have the nose, and on a sport mod, you still have, what, a 4-inch spoiler? Or
Depending on what you're running.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, 5 or 3.
Yeah, 5 or 3. There you go. Like, you've got plenty, but I always get nervous about the sport mods, as it is sometimes, because they just don't always have their heads on straight. But they put on a great show, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, they come out on a 30-lap feature, ran the first, I think, 9. And then they had a yellow, then they got another long run until like 6 to go, and they had one more yellow, and that was it, I think. Or it may have been less. But
yeah, well, we lost Mike Smith. A lot of people asked what happened there. Talked to him after the race. The bearing went out on his pulley on his power steering, and I'm like, well, geez, bud, you couldn't muscle that thing? He goes, I tried for 2 laps and looked up and seen that it was 27 to go, and he's like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I've done that in a stock car.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Steve he's done this over the years, when they didn't have the quickeners, or it was just what were they, the 800 boxes, and then they came out with a little quickener that was 2 to 1. Mm-hmm. Now we have boxes. Are you running a 6 to 1 now, or are you still old school?
I'm still old school.
Are you?
Yeah, I started out, there was no quick steer. Mm-hmm. It was just power steering.
Big steering wheel or little or normal?
I had the normal, just like what we have. But I threw, every once in a while you'd throw mud get in there or whatever, and you'd throw a belt. And, yeah.
You got to hang
it was
on.
A chore. Yeah.
Yeah, so that took Mike Smith out 3 laps in.
That was a tough break.
Tough break for him. I mean, the kid's been fast. He and he goes, typical deal. It's 1,000 win show. I draw the number 4 pill, starting up front instead of starting, 5th or 6th row, and we break, and I'm like, man, I know that feeling. It sucks, but I also know that you can't hardly turn them things.
Yeah.
Right.
Without power steering.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was disappointed because him and Brayton Carter were lining up. I thought they were going to have
and then
shootout.
Carter broke too.
And then he broke too.
Well, he caught a left rear flat. There was an altercation coming off of turn 4. They were 3-4 wide, and it was just a racing deal. A guy clipped him with his right front, and I'm like, oh, man. I mean, it kind of jarred the car. Mm-hmm. And then he was fine, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it maybe knocked the door in or whatever, or if it just knocked the bead in on the rim. I mean, we had a couple of laps. Jeremy Mills's left rear wheel looked.
Yeah.
How did that thing hang on?
I have no idea.
That was, even at speed, you could see, which jumping to the mod feature, you could see at speed, the left rear was bent so bad that even as he was hanging it out over the top side, you could still see the glare off the lights coming down, like even as it was spinning, as fast as it was. And
it had to about rattle the fillings out of his
my
teeth.
gosh. Yeah.
I don't know what that felt like, but I'm sure it was not fun for how many
Speaking of
laps.
the mod feature, though, absolute heartbreaker for Isaac
Yeah.
Malico. But in my opinion,
what happened?
They finished less cars, but I think the ending with the top 3 and 4, it was a banger. Mm-hmm. Mills, Fitz, Isaac.
What happened? I'm sitting in staging. I'm starting 11th because your guys' point system. I don't know how that works, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
We can't play favorites.
Yeah, we know.
Anyways, so Malico got out early and led most of the race.
I could see that.
Right, and he kept hitting his marks through what was an abundance of yellows. For a modified race, that was awful. They had so many yellows. I don't know if that's back to the aero dependency thing. I don't know if that was part of it for some of them guys that maybe weren't ready for it or what. Anyways, but he ran the top side in 1 and 2, and then he'd come to the bottom in 3 and 4, nice and gentle, about a lane off the bottom, and he was in 1 and 2, and Fitz was there, and Mills was, even with the bent left rear or rim at least, but he was still hanging out around the top side, and Isaac just slipped over the edge with the right rear, just enough to hang up the axle, just a hair. It didn't even really slow him down, but it was enough for Fitz to kind of muscle around on the bottom.
Yep.
Well, then Fitz had the bottom going in where Isaac was running in 3 and 4, so he had to jump up a lane. No problem. Isaac still made speed, came in, and this is with 2 to go, I think, 2 or 3 to go, and Isaac, I'm assuming the only thing he could think is like, well, I'll jump back to the top side and I'm really going to give it a run. And he hung almost the whole rear end over 1 and 2 there, and it was over from there.
Well, I just heard Jerry, I'm strapping in because it was hotter than shit.
It was
hot.
holy
moly.
Yes, it was.
It was. So all of us drivers were out of the cars. We're kind of watching it because it was a 30-lap race. We had 2 30-lappers for the topless twofers. And we're up there watching. I'm like, I can see the modifieds blowing that cushion up more and more and more. And Boone's weird because if there is a cushion, it's not really a cushion. It's like marbly.
Yeah.
Cushiony
It's not going to hold you up. You can't back it into it and come down off.
It's like
it.
it's an edge.
Yeah, it's an edge. It's not a cushion.
So when they blow that off there, though, there's still a shit ton of grip where they blow that off. And it's like probably this far down from the actual very lip of the racetrack.
Right.
So I'm like, man, we're starting 11th. It's like I can see some grip on the bottom. And then I hear Jerry go, oh, heartbreaker for Isaac Malacote. But I didn't know if it was Fitz or if it was Jeremy because I couldn't see Fitz.
Fitz ended up winning, and he just kind of I don't want to say motored around the bottom, but he had the bottom figured out. He ran the middle a little bit, but I don't know that he ever jumped to the top side maybe but once.
He just kind of kept pace. He kept him in, which...
Yeah, he kept in striking distance.
Any good driver's going to do if they just don't have enough to get by. Sometimes you just got to hang out, and something like that will happen.
Right? Yeah, because I think even in my opinion, had Mills gotten to Malacote, which Mills had to fight back through the field, especially after getting a bent left rear. But I think had Jeremy caught up to Isaac, had Isaac not missed his marks, obviously, Jeremy would have had to throw a bomb to get past him. I mean, we're talking. I don't know. He'd be hanging the left front over the tires as he entered the corner that deep. I think that's the only way he'd have gotten around him. Yeah. And he would have had to park it on his nose, and Jeremy wouldn't do that.
So real quick, we got Trevor Fitz with the win. Isaac got second. Jeremy Mills in third. Kyle Brown shows up. I hadn't seen him at the racetrack this year.
Red, brown, blue, brown were there last night.
Got him a fourth. Yep. Yeah. Brent Hartwick all the way from Arkansas.
Yep.
That was a good run for them. Corey Sauerman. I didn't have to see any right foots on a left ear, which I said that in front of Fitz, and I just saw him laugh. So the joke is there. They love it. Russ Dickerson runs 7th. David Solberg 8th. Chase Weimer 9th. And Garrett Nelson brings home 10th. Yeah.
Which, speaking of Hartwick, this is on the sheet, but yeah, he started 20th and ended up 5th. But some of that's war of attrition because I think we only finished 13.
It was, but you could tell, he just kind of, he's
been to Boone. He races Super Nationals every year. He knows the place, but I mean, showing up to a weekly show is a little different. Some guys that, I mean, they only race Boone once a year. They just show up for Super Nationals, and not that that's only what they are, but they'll come to the Harris Clash, and that's about it, I think. Right. They were just in the neighborhood for something. I'm not really sure. I saw it was either Brent or Spencer posted on Facebook the other day on Friday, and they said, oh, well, we're coming through Missouri, where's racing in Iowa? And Marshalltown had just canceled, and I think they ended up going to Columbus Junction. But I think they were the only place that raced on Friday, truthfully.
Yeah.
So, but IMCA show at least. But
right.
But yeah.
Stock cars. You know anything about that race, Jonathan?
Stock car race, yeah. We get out there. Ryan Roth.
He led most of the race.
He led most of the race. He's in one of our brand new cars. Been having some really good runs, just having some mishaps. I think the caution really hurt him, it did. From after watching the replay and stuff. But man, there was a little mayhem in there. We had the old 31X and the old Hot Rod Richards.
Hot Rod around.
I tell you,
we had a Smith sandwich. We had
a little Logue in the middle.
Yeah. It was just it was an exciting race. Hunter Smith picking up another one. That kid is a great kid.
He's
to race
super
with.
Nice, yeah.
I haven't actually met him.
When you do, trust me, he's a good kid.
Yeah. He really seems like it.
Yeah,
we've talked back and forth in the cars and stuff, and but man, good for him. I mean, Ryan just slipped up there, and Hunter stuck his nose in there and pulled the old Steve Jackson move down there in turn 1 and 2, and
got him down low.
And walked away with it. And the kid's from Colorado moved out here, young kid.
He works for Vanderbilt now.
Yep, very respectable racer.
Yep. And not related to the Lake City Smiths, but you might as well add another Smith to the top 4 because why not? David brings home 2nd. Roth got 3rd. Buck got a top 4.
Yep.
Doug Smith 5th. Greg Peck and then Jimmy Gustin, Tyler Pickett, Todd Van Eaton. So, yeah, good night going home for them boys.
Yeah.
And Daniel Hagan with the top 10. So
Now, hold on. Do I need a magnifying glass to find your name on this
Yeah.
list?
Well,
or what
I'm
happened?
just saying, maybe if the racetrack would have called him the right call on the flat left front tire on the 81 car for 10 laps, I wouldn't have had to have checked up and get spun out by Dave.
You take that up with the flagman.
Well, I think they had the Smiths had the airflow system going to the left front because it almost looked like it was up, but you had the best vantage point to see that it was not up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, and you said it earlier, that is not one that we miss very often. 'Cause
Right.
we try to be as strict on that as we can.
Well,
and
and it's an honest mistake. I mean, I know nobody didn't intentionally not see his left front tire, but it dictated so much of what was going on. And Devin, believe me, I would have done the same thing.
Sure.
You know, I would have stayed out there as long as I could have.
Stay out there until they tell you.
Until they tell
Yeah.
you. You know, that's what, you know, you guys hold us so accountable, so we need to hold you accountable too.
Correct.
Agreed.
So when that call gets, you know, and everybody's like, oh, it was Dave Smith that took you out. And it's like, yeah, but it wasn't, he didn't intentionally take me out. It was a racing deal.
Right.
Devin, you know, it was weird. I've watched the replay and it's on Doom Scroll, you know, and people are bitching, like, quit bitching. I was pissed. Don't get me wrong. I was pissed. But by the time I got my car fired back up, the leaders had already come around. I'm not going out there at one lap down. Right. I'm just not going to do that. So that's why I stay. So I go over to the track doctor, which nobody yells at Rod, but I did on Saturday. And I wasn't yelling at him. It was that the races were going on. And he has his headset on, and he's already hard of hearing, so am I. And I'm like, why are we letting the 81 car out there for 10 laps, race with a left front flat tire? And he goes, it was the 8 car that took you out. I'm like, that's not the point. You know, the 81 car was holding his line, and he made a mistake because his tire was down.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. And all it was is that he got a little sideways, and I was right there. I check up. Dave's underneath me. He catches a tire. It shoots his front end over, collects my left rear, spins me out. Racing deal. Yep. It happens. It's just part of it.
Yep.
But was I pissed? Well, yeah, I was pissed.
Sure.
You know, and it is what it is. But it's like everybody's like, oh, the points. I'm like, I'm going to be in North Dakota for the North Dakota tour. You know, right. I'm going to miss another night over the year. Like, I don't give a shit about the points. Although I feel like it's like, you know, I talked to Peyton. He's like, dude, every time I talk to you, you're starting dead last. I'm like, it's a Boone thing. Mm-hmm. I've started 11th row ever since the first year I won Super Nationals. I ain't never been out of it.
Yeah, what's this deal? Like, if you start in the back, boy, you're just lights out. You and Jimmy both, truthfully.
Seriously.
Jimmy starts in the back, look out. You too. And, like, you guys start near the front, and you guys just suck. What is it?
Because we got to, like, see and feel it out. And I don't know. Steve can attest to this, right? It's nice not to be the front row Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're not just waiting for somebody to show you something somewhere to say that, because then you know you're like, well, I'm slow here, you know,
right?
But
correct. I don't know, but that ended my night real quickly. So I just kind of sat down in the infield, and then the yellow come out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going home. I'm going to my trailer, and I'm going home. Yeah. So I'm gonna do. Yeah. So my nephew's birthday extravaganza was out there, so they were pretty pumped up, and
I ran into Britt down below the tower, and she's like, what are you doing over here? I'm like, well, this is where I work.
Oh, yeah. Right. Another thing I want to bitch about real quick. We run out of fruit on the hottest day in the pit area.
Oh, man. I bet people couldn't get it fast enough, I'm guessing.
It's like the most hydrating thing there other than the action tracks.
Yeah.
But we run out of we run out of the. I can't have action tracks during the races. I gotta have hydrating stuff.
Right. There's been some guys get caught doing that.
No, that's the thing.
Shit.
That's the thing about the fruit, though, is like, I mean, if you order too much, then it all spoils.
You're right.
So you always kind of underdo it, I would assume.
Okay, this weekend it's going to be 102 in heat index, double the fruit.
What's wrong with stopping and getting something on your way?
Well,
I heard this. I'm like, eating fruit before.
Steve,
nah, you just drink some water, man.
Yeah, right. Well, it takes a lot of gas.
We never had that stuff.
Yeah.
Steve's old school.
We're spoiled. We are spoiled.
A bunch of spoiled brats up there racing, it sounds like, man.
Yes, we are spoiled.
They need a Oh, man, I was going to say a bandana, but a handkerchief.
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Yeah, I remember them days.
We take snacks and stuff, but I like to support the racetrack. It's a good way for the racetrack to put money in their pocket.
Well, I will let Danelle know. We'll
Perfect.
Need to
Get a little more.
We appreciate
hit the fruit
that.
a little bit more.
Did we already do
appreciate that.
sport mod results?
We're getting ready to do them right now.
I can go over those.
Yeah, the second round of bass boats.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes. Cam Reimers from 10th, which he's been fast lately. He won one night at Independence. Mm-hmm. He's been strong recently. No real big movers and shakers, but it was a big field, though. I mean, 45 cars. I mean, to get to that feature, I mean, we talked about Carter having a left rear flat, which he pulled off so slow. That's why I thought he broke. And then Smith breaking too. But, what a stout field. I mean, even your top 10 here, I mean, like, it's not like he's out there racing against any slouches.
Right.
But Cam brought home the win. Willie Kirk, Joe Reed's third, Randy Havlick fourth, which, when Randy's on, he's on. Hunter Poston, that was a good showing for him. He's from Villisca. I think he races Corning quite a bit.
Yep.
I don't know. I think he comes to Stewart, too.
The 58.
Yeah, and the 58X. Ryan Lehman, Hunter Longnecker, Chris Burke.
In his own show, he got top 10.
At his own show, which, boy, early on, you'd have thought he
had to run a B.
He couldn't even get out of his own way. Well, I think he got caught up a couple times. But
Did we?
Or no, he got in through the heat.
One of the biggest disappointments about this whole show this weekend was no Jake Sacco.
It was different.
It was different. And the reason I say that is because the guy gets his dick kicked in the dirt a little bit, and it's the first week we have a single car feature.
Right.
For that division. Yeah. And I've heard through the grapevine that IMCA has implicated a rule effective immediately, and I could be completely wrong. Sorry, Brett, if I am not announced this or whatever. If they haven't, have they posted anything about it?
I haven't seen anything posted, but we did get notified that you got to have 40 cars to do it.
Okay, so any track, if you choose to have a double feature night, you have to have 40 cars.
Yep.
So
you guys are a bunch of what a bunch of prima donnas. Sorry about that. But
No. And so this weekend being a special event, the Topless 30, Chris Burks, since he's promoting the show, he wanted a single car feature with B-Main. And so they brought in 45 cars, and I say that is because I really wanted to see Jake Sacco with the Cam Reimers, the Willie Kirk, the Matt Avalas, all the guys, because that's what puts on a show, and but it's part of it. It was the rules, and like I said, it was a good show. It's just one of them unfortunate things that we didn't get to see the 14 car there. And I asked him if he wanted to bring it up, I'd run it for him, and then I thought, he goes, Lottie might claim it even if you're running it. And I'm like, yeah, he might. It just depends on how hot he is at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
He just doesn't like the color orange.
Yep, right.
Anyways, 8th Chris Burke, 9th Ryan King, 10th Mitchell Morris.
And Burke did make it in through his heat.
He did,
but he struggled early in that feature, though.
Yeah.
He started deep.
He did, but he wasn't putting around the back, but he was trying to make the bottom work, and I think Cam ran the top the whole race and a couple of them guys, but he struggled in that one. In my head when I saw the lineup, I was like, man, that'd be something if Burke won this. It'd be cool to see.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, we'd probably catch a bunch of flack, but
I mean,
he puts on the show and then he wins. I'm sure we'd have done something wrong along the way.
He would have earned it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But
hobby stocks.
Yeah, hobby stocks. Go for it, Bobcat.
You want me to murder everybody's name?
That's
you guys
kind
go
of
right
what
ahead.
I was saying.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
knew that's exactly what you were doing.
I
Joe
definitely
Wollenhop.
Wollenhop.
Yep.
He comes from 13th to pick up the win.
Correct. Yes.
That's a tough task to do at Boone Speedway.
And their last race out.
Yep. I think that I think we should have threw them guys out there in between the mods or the stock car race, chew that track up. Them tires are so good on that racetrack and creating different lanes. Like there was a lane in the stock cars across the middle in 1 and 2 and stuff, and then it went away, of course, at the end. But I don't know, them hobby stock tires are weird, do weird things to the racetrack. So for
Yeah.
him to come from 13th, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Well,
Dylan,
especially after Dylan Hill led nearly the entire race. I mean, it was only 15 laps, but I think Hill led the first 11 laps or something like that.
Yep. That kid's been increasingly finishing higher and
Yeah,
higher.
he's
so.
due up for one. He'll get one.
Yep.
get
I think
one.
he will before the year's over.
yeah. Bryce Sommerfeld,
Yep.
There you go.
Corey Vanderwilt, Eric Knutson, Joey Young, Andrew Berg,
The burglar.
Adam Tiernan going 8th, Seth Butler going 9th, and this is a familiar name of Steve Jackson here. Tommy Killen Jr. probably raced with the old man back in the
Oh
day.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we had a few there.
We had a few there down there at the
Him
old
and Uncle
fairgrounds.
Don. Yep.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
Uncle Don. Yeah.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, we'd be down there and it'd be like, well, Killens are fighting somebody. they're claiming somebody. They're walking around with a wad of cash, finding who they're going to buy,
yeah.
So it's cool to see those people that I used to watch race, that their kids, and whether they're older or a little bit younger than me, still doing the sport that we all love.
Yes.
Tommy's older than you. But
Oh, yeah, Tommy be
Yeah,
older than me. He's got to, what's he got to be, mid-40s?
Tommy's.
is he that?
No, I don't think he's that old.
bet he's
No,
30.
I don't think so.
I'm 40, guys.
Oh, well,
Or
then
going to be 40. I'll be 38 in July.
probably around
Well,
40.
I bet you guys are probably pretty close.
Aren't you
Pretty
supposed?
close in this. Yeah, you're pretty close. In
It's been a long. Well,
Yeah.
last time I ever seen him, actually, and seen him in the pit area and stuff was at the fairgrounds.
Right.
That has been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tommy's been around this stuff since he was walking.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
I did look up earlier. Denny Pittman is 73 years old. Just
73.
FYI.
Sorry, Denny.
FYI.
You've aged well, buddy.
Yeah, sorry,
He
Denny.
has. My
does.
goodness. I would not have guessed 73.
We got to get him on.
I
here.
would have
He
guessed
was,
like 61 or something.
Yeah, well, but he was the most winningest modified driver at Boone Speedway.
Right.
It
I mean, I knew that. He still is.
He
yeah.
is.
I
Yeah, he
knew
still
that,
is.
but I just.
Are you the most winningest stock car guy?
I have no idea. I could not.
good question.
I could
We
not
should
honestly.
call. We need to call.
No idea.
I bet Bill Martin
Bill
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Virginia.
or
Bill
Virginia
probably
would know.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should definitely look into that. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yep, we can
Yeah.
do that.
But onto the mod lights. Tommy Flipover, Austin Gray.
Boy.
He's been racking and stacking. And
He was
running
good.
Really
he was good before the rollover.
Oh,
earlier
yeah,
this
right,
year.
right,
yeah,
yeah.
Like this isn't new behavior for him.
No.
But you'd think. I mean, not that was like catastrophic season ending, but like he's been lights out since then. I don't know.
Yeah, super cool. First time ever topless mod light winner.
Yep. That's the first time they've ever been topless, to my knowledge.
Yeah, it is. And when Chris was here, he had mentioned that they had called. Jimmy had called, and they kind of all had. How they do their own little finger dance thing up there in the northwest corner.
I saw 2 drivers stick their hand out and do one
Yeah, so
finger.
let's do better,
That's
mod
it.
lights.
Boys, we get you all this stuff. You got to give us the wave.
You got to
Come
give
on.
us the wave. Well, see, they've been doing the
They
roof
have,
flap thing,
yeah,
but
right.
it's the finger, man.
It is. The whole crowd was doing it.
Yeah, the crowd always does
Jerry's
it.
got
Yeah,
the whole crowd doing
Guys, come on. We need to get with Ben George on this and have a mod light minute about it or something because we
that's
got to
right.
get the guys. Maybe there's being an incentive like free hot dog for mod light guys if they're seen doing the finger dance.
Free hot dog at Austin Gray's pit right after the race.
Correct.
Yes. I'm going to make Austin, because he won all the money last night.
Right.
He even put some of it up, but then he got to
Yeah,
take it
he
home.
put some
Yeah.
of it up. And then
He
took it
gets
right
to
back
throw a
home.
crock pot of dogs together at the trailer and hit. That's
Yes.
hot dogs on Austin after the race.
Right. But
Austin doesn't strike me as a cooker.
no.
No, crock pot really isn't a cook.
Here's the
You
deal,
just throw
Austin.
it all in there.
Buy
Warm it
yourself
up.
a crock pot. Make sure it's got the latching lid. Get you about 48 dogs.
Plug it
Throw
in,
them in there.
walk away.
Turn it on warm, not low. Turn it on warm. Go race.
Didn't know
They'll
we
be
were
ready
gonna,
after.
We're going to have
Right.
cooking lessons in the middle of the podcast.
He just doesn't strike me as the type of guy that knows how to cook.
You never know. You never know.
Josh May goes second. Corey Songer goes third. Grant Anderson fourth. Colin Anderson fifth. Garrett Barber sixth. Brian Ziem going 7. Ben George 8th. Colby Albrecht 9th. And last but not least, Dylan Bush, the 96, rounding out your top 10. Austin Gray 11th to 1. Corey Songer 12th to 3rd. So another great event. It was really cool. I agree with Colton on this. Them cars looked very unique without the roof on there. It was kind of cool to see. They got a lot of them guys got the radiators mounted up behind their heads.
Right.
And I'm saying the way the roof pitches on those, that does affect them.
Oh, for sure.
Arrow-wise, because it's not handling the same. So
for sure.
You could tell some of those the guys that had more laps, they seemed a little more comfortable in them. So
especially early on in the heat races, you could tell that those heat races came out, and some of those guys, they were not ready for the give that they were going to get with less aero on it.
Right.
So now that we've hammered out the results, real quick, I have the new graphic up for the Adobe Lounge Power Rankings. And
so Steve, what they're doing now with these power rankings is they're Coty and Josh and Colton have come up with this formula like college football or baseball where you're ranked and seeded. Mm-hmm. We've implicated it into racing, so it takes your heat race finishes, your feature finishes, how many cars you pass, all of this stuff, and puts it into this little thing right here. And I've been getting hosed over since they started it. I just wanted to throw that out there first.
And your 21st place finish last night doesn't help.
Your guys' not black flag didn't help that situation.
Oh, come on.
It will help his point average. He'll be able to start farther forward next time. Maybe two.
One row, maybe.
Yeah. But, one row. And there's also a recency thing. So it takes the last 3 weeks into account, and then the rest of the year still matters. It's just a little bit less. So if a guy catches fire at the end of the year, it really would knock him up.
It's weighted for the more recent
It's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool.
It's the top 10 overall. Nobody's surprised. Jeremy Mills. Jake Sackhouse still second, which
he'll probably be in the top 10 for a minute.
He'll start to fall off after a couple weeks. Mike Smith, Todd Shute, Jimmy Gustin, Eric Knudsen, the 12K, not the other Eric Knudsen that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
That we will talk about.
Yes.
So you lump all these classes?
Yep.
Okay, they're all
so
lumped in together.
It does an overall, and then we do it per class.
Per class, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Cam Reimers 7th, Jonathan Logue 8th.
Back to 8th?
It held on.
I was out of the top 10 last week.
But, hey.
I like it.
How did everybody else do? Jake McBurney, 9th. You're ahead of Jakester.
Yeah.
And Devin Smith, 10th. You're ahead of Devin now. Does that make you feel good? Uh-huh. All right. Modified class, you got Mills, Shute, McBurney, Fitz, and Sourman.
How is Trevor Fitz not higher up? I feel like he's been really good recently.
But he had a few rough weeks.
He did.
Believe me, we've all been wondering.
Hey, like everybody wonders, why am I so far down in points? Do you not remember the night you were sitting on the trailer watching the A? I mean, those things come back to bite you, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do.
It really hasn't been a common thing because we've been running double features and stuff, so everybody's been on the track.
Everybody gets an A.
That's true.
Yeah.
And which modifieds have run? They've usually just run heats. We haven't. I think
they had one night.
I think it's great.
It is. Stock cars: Jimmy Gustin, Jonathan Logue, 2nd overall, or in the stock car division. Devin Smith, Doug Smith, and Tyler Pickett.
Jeez,
now
we got two Smithers there. See that, Steve? We got 2 Rages and 2 K cars.
Now Dave's been doing good.
Where's he at?
He's not even in the top 5 for the stock cars.
He's probably out by like 3/4 of a point.
Probably very close because it's really nitpicky. Sport mods, Jake's still on top. Mike Smith, Cam Reimers, Matt Avila, and Willie Kirk. That's a stout top 5.
That is a stout
right
top.
There.
Yes, it is.
Hobby stocks, Eric Knudsen, not the one we'll talk about.
Not the
Indy.
other Eric.
Wayne Gifford. We should call Eric something with his little tool that he created. We should make up something.
The Pushmaster.
The Pushmaster. Eric the Pushmaster Knudsen. Wayne, see, the dogs agree.
Yeah.
Wayne Gifford 2nd, Corey Vanderwilt 3rd, Joe Young 4th, Will Smith 5th. And then your mod lights, we got old 1-footer Brian Ziem up top with Joel Huggins 2nd, Josh May 3rd, Austin Gray 4th, and Garrett Barber is cracked into the top 5. So that is your Adobe Lounge power rankings for this week. And then real quick, I think we just need to knock out the Moffitt's Ford Mayhem because
we saw some at Independence.
We did see some in Independence, and we have to talk about it first.
We'll spit it out because you guys were there. I was just watching.
Yeah,
Braden Gifford, because Braden got the black flag, he got scored behind Knudsen. I want to call it black flag because I don't think it actually came out of the stand.
I don't think so either.
Braden fed him a right rear going down in the corner, and it was a wide open shot off the corner, guardrails down deep, and Eric went through the guardrails I'm not sure if it sheared off the carburetor or a fitting, but caught on fire, and the guardrail came all the way into the main cage. Like, it was wild, wild. They had drone shots up above, and Eric was out of the car in 10 seconds running up the track, so
they're
he was
quick
okay.
on their hoof. All of them are.
He was good, but car not so much. I think it was headed to jet to get a stub on it. So
no shit.
More than that, probably. It was
so.
I mean, because when he went, like, have you ever raced Independence?
Yes, I have.
Okay, like, since it's been reshaped, kind of. Okay, well, it's a long ways down off the backside. It doesn't seem like it is, but it is. And, like, when he crested the hill, like, he caught air. Like, that's how fast he was going.
There was no slowing down.
There was no slowing down on the backside. Like, he hit the ground. And
those are scary feelings.
Ran right into the guardrail. Yeah.
They're done now.
It was scary. Yeah.
It was
even for us, like, we're sitting there in the tower, and, like, there's nothing we can do, you know?
Right.
And, it was, like, just in an instant, we're like, oh, boy. And he caught air, and we're like, okay, well, we can't see down over the hill there. And somebody was up high enough at some point.
The flagman.
The flagman, yeah.
He's
he
the one
was
that
up
said it.
high enough that he could see that the car had just lit on fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He screamed out fire, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was something. It
was a rough one.
Yeah.
So that was a candidate. Matt Avila driving off turn 3. The airflow system just wasn't quite balanced for him, or what?
Well, we're fighting a little bit of combustion problem around the carburetor area, and
all right.
I think what happened there is it overloaded with fuel going into turn 3, and when he went to crack back into it and put it on the firewall, it just shot him up the track, and he went down over the hill. So we're still working on that. We did offer it up to Chris Burke to see if he wanted to try it. That is the first person that we've offered this new design and airflow package. We're working on these sport mod cars. But yeah, it ended Matt's night, and he had to cool down. He was a little hot. I think a lot of people were getting a little warm. They were spitting water and blowing stuff. And
first warm night of the year is always good for some drama. I don't know. It's the weather gets
keep them radiators clean, and
it gets in everyone's bones. Everyone's hot and upset, and we got to take it out on each other. So.
Bobcat and Smith sandwich. Really, you guys are putting that on the Moffat or the
Chat GPT took care of that for me. I didn't even have to really say anything.
Right. My vote for the Moffat's Ford Mayhem of the week is Eldora.
Oh, dude. The late model flip.
Well,
Ziegler.
not even that. I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But did you guys see the hail and the rain that they got yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes.
During the day?
Yep.
Like, to me, I've been to Eldora when it's rained, and it's like, no, we just can't do this, you know. So to see the videos and Snapchats that I seen from Eldora, plus with the wreck with Ziegler there,
Which
that's my vote.
That is a weird deal.
That's
like that.
wild.
Like, I'm a Bobby Pierce fan,
We know.
so
The world knows.
yeah,
The world knows
which
this, yeah.
whatever you guys can.
I like him too. I do. I beat my dad with him all the time because we bet late model $20 on every late model race.
yeah,
And
he's hard to pick against. But my only knock against Nick Hoffman is that he's good. Like, whenever he's always racing against Bobby Pierce, and I'm a huge Bobby Pierce fan, so I just naturally I can't like the guy that much. But I don't know if he thought he was going to get the 2-for-1 there when he went across the nose and, like, didn't realize the head of steam that Ziegler had or what. Like, but when you watch, because they had Hoffman's in-car camera, and he knew he did it immediately. Like, as soon as they hit, like, he's out of it just a touch, and then as he went across his nose, he was, like, trying to look back. Like, I don't know if he thought he was going to get the 2-for or what there. And nothing intentional, obviously. Like, Nick doesn't race that way.
He doesn't race that way. And I've noticed, especially at Eldora, them cars are so air dependent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, them guys go in there and their front ends are doing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you
if
can
they enter wrong or if they enter in on somebody's quarter panel or whatever, like, and I've always known that they're air dependent, but, like, especially at Eldora.
On a big track,
like,
yeah.
And when Ricky and, like, Billy Moyer, when they get on the broadcast and they're talking about it, it's like, Ricky says, you lose that right rear quarter panel, the spoiler that's this wide, it's half a second.
Oh, yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's crazy to see, like, because you'll watch when they, from the front stretch at Eldora, at least the broadcast of the Dream this weekend, you can see guys that really know what they're doing when they're going in, whether they're behind somebody that's in front of them, like position battling, or they're in lap traffic. As long as whoever's in front of them is taking the low side, you'll see them. It almost looks like they're not yanking it, but they'll tuck to the outside just to catch clean air right before they throw it in. It's crazy.
Or the left front. You can see guys too. They'll stick that left front just
they'll pull it
much,
just enough so that way it'll hold that left side down.
Yeah, and it is something to see because when they get right behind somebody, you see them whoop right to the wall.
The craziest thing is the sliders that happen because I mean that place is so wide anyways. I mean you're talking 5-6 lanes wide at a minimum just for race surface.
Yes.
You know, and like somebody throws a deep slider from the bottom of 1 up to the edge of 2 and they're going to park it and diamond off or whatever, and you see them get in front of someone and you can see it, the nose lifts and then they're in the fence.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, it's like Dallin Murdy.
Goes
out and then all of a sudden comes around and smokes the wall.
Thank God his first lap was good. Because he ended up third, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, his first lap, I'm like, he laid it down. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yes.
Like, let's go, kid.
Yes.
And then immediately in 1, just hopped the cushion just enough, and then, just sucked him right in.
Yep.
That's how fast it can happen right there,
That's right.
fellas.
Yeah.
And if you guys think that we're not thinking, oh, shit.
Oh,
when that happens,
I'm sure.
we're definitely going, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I think Eldora deserves it.
I just do because it's just, man, I mean, to overcome – we talk about how not very many racetracks can overcome rain in situations like that.
They got a bunch.
And they got a shit ton. I mean, they had hail, they had everything. And then I seen some stuff, RTJ's out there doing some Bobcat.
Pit walk.
Uncut.
He did a good job,
He
though,
did a
I
great
thought.
job. He did a great job.
Nothing against Dale McDowell, but Dale McDowell is just a quiet guy.
Right.
He is.
You know, like, he's smart. He knows what he's
His
talking about.
insight
and all that.
was good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was cool to
but
hear that.
Ricky's he's got a little more personality, if you will.
Right.
And Ricky was really fun to listen to. Like, Dakota's not a huge RTJ fan, but even she was like, it's actually really fun.
They interviewed her driver, who I was like, holy shit, he's been running the best he's ran in the last 5 years.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
The 50. Well, he's a 51, which was
it was a Rowdy tribute.
Kyle
tribute.
Busch tribute.
So cool to see the Rowdy
Yeah.
tribute.
Yeah.
Honestly, and to see him run well. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me
Well,
wrong.
it didn't go well at the end. But,
Right, but I'm
like
saying
he won at Mansfield. That was a big one.
The prelim and shit. Like,
and he ran second at the prelim.
Like, I wanted him to win that, even though, like, his program and picking up that 100,000 to win here.
Oh, that's huge.
Huge deal for him. And it's like that best performance deal they got going on, and they've stuck it out with him. And, losing his dad here a couple of years ago and overcoming that. And it's like, finally, I've been waiting to, like, it's like, Tyler, like, what are we doing here, bud? Like, you're this badass in the pit area, and you're a pussy on the racetrack. And now he's becoming that badass. I mean, he's been badass at places, but I'm saying now more on a national level.
Yeah.
He's been in the national
He's been
level,
in
but I'm
contention.
saying
He's in contention a lot more often.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and it's fun to watch because I love the way he races, especially when he like wrecks people.
Yeah. Well, he's got an IOU coming from Benji Hicks, you know.
You're right.
Which,
right.
First off, comment of ever on Facebook to come out of that whole deal is the Benji Hicks post. He posted, said, "Oh, I got an IOU for Turbo over this deal or whatever," which, whatever, call it what it is. When you see it live, it didn't look that bad. Hicks just got out of it and I think got scared. That's my opinion. But somebody commented on there and said, like, well, this is the only time of year you'll be in the same zip code as Tyler Erb, so you better take your chance now. Like, because which I said, you know, they call him the devil nickel, but he can't drive worth 2 nickels in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure at his local home track he's Mr. Man, but he's nothing, you know.
Mr. Man.
Mr.
So, I don't
Man.
know. There was a race going on. He wasn't in it, so, you know,
Fair
it
enough.
is what it is. But
Fair enough.
anyways, but Bobby won, so we got that going for
Yeah,
us.
that was
Bobby did win.
his first dream, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's only fitting the 32nd Dream, car number 32. It was meant to be.
Imagine that.
Must have just been a few keyboard buttons and a couple of clicks away from making that happen, huh, folks?
I got to watch Colton up in the tower. He got to see it.
We watched every minute of it in the tower.
I got to see his face. He was so happy, and I'm like, I wonder if Dakota's watching
Well,
this
and it
at
got to
home.
be late in the race, too. I mean, Hoffman was closing in, but, I mean, B. Shep blew her right front and took out him and Huddy. And
I know, my
and
dad
the
and
whole
I-
deal. And then there's Nick Hoffman, and Max Blair's fast, too. And I was nervous the last 10 laps or so. I'm like, man, Nick Hoffman's here. I'm like, like this can't be, you know.
Right. Yeah, I thought it got rained out, and so Dad and I got this deal. So they raced 4 nights.
Yeah.
So we picked 2 drivers, and then we can't pick those drivers until the next weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
we picked Hoffman and whoever, and so our picks on Saturday night was I had Brandon Shepard and he had Hudson O'Neal. Oh. And so when we get done after the
out
races,
together.
I'm like, oh shit! I'm looking and I'm like, oh, it got rained. Maybe it got rained out, you know. And then so I pull it up on my phone and it says live. I'm like, no way. Click on it and I'm like,
Yeah.
Bobby. And I'm like, well, where's Shepard? I don't. Yes.
Got him by a spot.
16th, 15th, and 16th or something like that. Shepard wins, or and
Beat him, yeah.
beat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But man, what a great weekend for the Dream. That's where Jake McBurney was this weekend.
Yeah,
was out
okay.
at the Dream. Him
All
and
right.
Savannah out there celebrating their wedding anniversary. Jakester said he'd never been out to the Big E. And have you been out there, Steve?
No.
To Eldora?
Nope,
Oh,
never
man,
have.
you got to go.
I'd love to
That'd
go.
be a fun
say.
one to go
Yeah.
to.
They put in some new grandstands over by the merch stuff. If you guys didn't notice.
Off turn 3?
No, going into turn 1.
Oh, okay.
So all the merch trailers, like, man, we talk about Eldora all the time. I mean, like the pepper jack cheese balls, everything's cheap. The grandstands, it's like old school, like Webster City with the wooden thing over it, and they got the wood seats on it, and everybody's got their little foam thing. And it's like you're in under the tunnel, and there's not a bad seat in the place. I've never been there. So we went for the Dirt Track Championship last year. Mm-hmm. And then, which is cool because they got the banner with all the drivers on it. They got, it is just you gotta go check it out.
kinda do it
It
upright.
is so worth it.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What?
Since you've been to Eldora a lot, or maybe one of you guys.
Twice.
knows. Okay. Well, you've been more times than I've been.
You've never been there?
No. Oh, my God. I'd love to go.
Dude.
We should go.
We should go.
Okay.
But anyway.
The girls will dog sit.
That's right.
Anyways, why do they do – what was the deal with the – like at the Dream at least, they had 2 checks with Bobby's name and 2 trophies. Did you notice that last night? Or, well, I guess you didn't watch it. Dakota caught it on the broadcast, and she said –
because it was the 32nd year and it was the 32 car that won probably.
I'm sure.
You got a 30
no,
You
I
got
just
an owner. You got an owner, maybe.
well, like they just
You
had
got an owner.
Okay, all right, yeah.
They might.
Well, no, they own it.
That's
Yeah.
just like if you go like to Hendricks and that, they
Yeah,
got
I
2
suppose.
grandfather clocks, for winning.
Okay,
Martinsville.
yeah.
Yeah,
They
right.
both get them.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even
driver
point-
and owners both get.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Well,
I bet
Bobby
it
owns
is.
the car, though.
Right, but
Yeah,
they probably
but-
have to have that prepared for anybody.
Anybody.
Like,
that
Oh, okay.
wins,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Ricky
yeah.
'Cause
wins,
it's the Dream.
owner gets.
Well, they filled out both of them, and they had both trophies set out.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
why
know.
do they
That's-
have 2 checks and 2
Dustin
trophies? And
Jar-
I was like, I don't know.
Dustin Jarrett does listen to the podcast. So
Dustin, shoot us a message. I would love to know.
he might be able to tell us that.
That's true.
That'd be-
Also, did you see Dustin? Well, wait, I saw Ben in the dress.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
fabulous.
Somebody, I think, ChatGPT
Dustin in a
And
bikini.
Randy.
And Randy in
And Randy,
bikinis.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
was
pretty
hilarious.
funny.
It was pretty good.
That was pretty funny.
And they take it so well. And James Extick's one of the best all-time
greats.
announcers.
Yes.
Hands down. And like when he decides to hang that torch up, it's just gonna it's really gonna change dirt late model racing, in my opinion.
Yep.
Even though he has, like, Dustin Jarrett and Ben Shelton have phenomenally just fell in, like, they are the voice of that, in my opinion.
Yeah. They do a good job. And what I like about James Essex is he's still committed to doing, like, the local, like, regional series stuff, like the All-Star Late Model, like the Northern All-Star Late Model Tour and stuff like that. And it's so cool. Like, I follow him on social media, and he's always posting about, and it's stuff that he might not even be able to go to just for conflict schedule and stuff like that, but he's always promoting local grassroots, like regional series stuff. And that's, to me, that's what makes him so iconic is like, not only is he great on the mic, I could listen to James Essex all day. I mean, sorry, Ben, DJ, I love you guys, but James he's an all-time great.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, to see him care so deeply about the sport itself and its health and, you know, wanting to promote and go work at smaller shows or regional shows is really cool.
It takes a lot of passion for guys to carry that torch to, you know, and I don't care if it's like a local, whether it's a photographer, somebody that writes the stories, like, you know, to take time out of your day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 5 hours to do that. Like, it means a lot. You know, you think about Steve Jackson won a lot of races, a lot of big races, a lot of small races. Doesn't matter. Think of all the people that worked at every one of those races. You know, to make that event happen, and it is something else. It is, and you know, your announcers are the kind of the face of things. So they get noticed a lot, but.
All the other people.
You look at people, I mean, you know, from ticket takers to people working in the concession stand and that kind of stuff. I mean, it takes a lot. Lining up cars and that, you know.
Corner workers.
And I mean, you look at some of them, you look at their dedication, it's as much as a driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, you look at John Avery.
Yes.
You know, I mean, how many years he spent up there? You know, and his passing in that. But, I mean, it takes that. I mean, and it's just not only at the Boone Speedway. I mean, you look at multiply about how many tracks that you got. Yeah, everywhere. There's a lot of dedication that goes to that.
I know Colton and I get to see, you know, we do go around and work some different events. We were up at Indy. And to me, it's kind of cool. Like, you get there and you get to meet these people. You've never met them before. It's almost weird, like you're coming in on their turf to do something, you know, which we don't try to step on people's toes. We're just there to do what we're there to do.
Right.
But it's nice to meet them and you kind of learn their story and how long they've been working there. And it's a neat deal because you realize there's a whole different world that makes this thing go on everywhere, all over these different racetracks.
Absolutely.
It's
that
very
racing
cool.
family we always talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been around for.
You're right. Yeah, it's been around for since racing, I think.
I mean, I don't know about Steve, but I've been times where I've been in an altercation with a racer on the racetrack, and then you drive down the road and they're broke down. You don't even know it's them, but you pull over because it's a racer.
It's a racer.
Yep. Exactly. No matter what it is.
Exactly.
You might get out and be like, oh, well, hey, dickhead, you're the one that cut my right front down.
You know, there's times you end up in that crash, you know. So started it in that. And you know what? He's at my trailer, and you know, here's an A-frame.
Yeah,
seriously.
Right.
And then I'm sitting there going, man, why did I put him back out on the track? You know, he goes out there and beats you, you know. And it's like, oh man, I could have. But yeah, that's just the way it is.
That is no kidding. So
the way we did it.
Back to let's go back to this whole Steve Jackson story. We kind of left off at why did you choose a stock car?
I don't know. I mean, back then they had that was really basically the first class. I mean, they had the Thunder Car class. I don't know if you remember that. The
I
old
remember
Gremlins.
Thunder Cars. Yes,
yeah,
I
the
do.
old Thunder Cars. Yeah, they had those, and it was like, you know, to me, that's not a race car. No offense, but to them guys. But the next class is Lottie had a class for like the street stocks, but that was, you know what? At the end of the night, the top four pulled in there and. $300, you lost your whole car, you know, and I wasn't building cars for anybody else. So, and talking with my dad and Glenn and that, and they said, oh yeah, this is upgoing class. You know, jump in here and get your feet wet and see how it goes.
What was your I mean, we know you raced a ton at Stewart, a ton at Oskaloosa, Des Moines, and Boone. What racetrack were you most fond of? What was your favorite place, or it might not even be one of them ones that we just mentioned, but what's Steve Jackson's favorite racetrack?
Yeah, you know, everybody says that, and I never really thought or had a favorite racetrack. It was just, I mean, I wanted to race at as many tracks as I could. You know, I raced tracks in Kansas. I mean, I've raced tracks all over, and there's a lot of nice tracks. There's a lot of tracks that can use some help and this and that. But when I went to the track, I never went to Boone because it was Boone or Des Moines because it was Des Moines. I went to the track going, hey, let's see what she's got to offer me and see if I can whoop her. and that's what I wanted to do. I mean, it wasn't about the cars, you know, and I mean, all the competition stuff made it that much more, give you that much more fire.
Right. Now,
but I wanted to beat the racetrack. That's what I wanted.
You ran Boone for
20
and conquered the second year.
Conquered,
So
but ran. I ran
win the Super National.
Sure.
I mean, like, to some racers, and when I won my first title, and it was my 97th start. It was the third race I'd ever won, and I got all these people calling in magazines, wanting to do stories and stuff, and I'm like, man, it's just another race.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't won. I hadn't had the success. To me, it was just like, I was pumped up that I won the race.
Yeah.
But I just won my first and my second race 2 weeks prior to the Super
It's one of those
Yeah.
things that's what almost makes it a little more special, and B, like, sometimes when it's early on, like, you win in Super Nationals in your second year, like, sometimes that, like, you just wanted to win. You both did, obviously.
Yeah.
I was in
Like,
my
you don't-
second year
but,
too.
like,
cool.
Like, you don't understand, like, the gravity of it all, because you're like, man, I won, I don't care, you know, like
It's a big deal. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but like in that moment, you're like, I'm just happy I won.
Seriously.
I mean, I looked at it. To me, it was, I mean, it was the Super Nationals and that, and you put in a little more extra effort to try to win it or be more competitive in it, that type of deal. But, when it come right down to it, you win. I don't know if they still do it, but pulling your motor, you get done the motor pulled.
Yep.
You're on your way home. I'm going, where am I going next weekend?
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously.
So your favorite,
That's the way I thought. I mean,
yeah.
you'd think I'm crazy, but yeah, that's
in
the
a
way I
way,
thought.
your favorite track was the next one.
The next
Yes,
one.
the next one. The next one on the plate.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about competitors? Did you have anybody that you
Who was Steve Jackson's nemesis?
That's what everybody says. Who's your
Not nemesis.
I'm
Kryptonite.
I never really. To me,
You know who I felt like it was?
Who?
Larry Soball. You guys, I'm just saying, you guys put on so many battles. You always see, you had more won battles than Larry did. But, man, like, I tell everybody, Steve Jackson could go in and rub you and race you and not take you out better than anybody I've ever seen on the racetrack. And it could be a matter of, like, just that you're just aggressive. You were let's go. And Larry was kind of like that, but he would kind of lose his cool sometimes and really try to actually take your ass out. And the battles were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Rod and Sarah might be pissed at me, but I'm just, whatever.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, them races, I don't remember all of them or anything like that. Was Larry a nemesis? No. I mean, he was another competitor.
Right.
And, I mean, I raced, back in our deal, our racing was a lot different than what I see you guys do now. And your dad could probably contest to it. We was kind of like gentlemen racers.
Yeah.
I got that nose right up here, and you can see it. I'm not asking for anything but my groove and 1 foot of mistake. That's all I ask. Now, if you want to chop me, and we make contact, or you want to try to pin me down and we make contact, sorry, Charlie. You knew I was there.
How about that?
Does that make sense?
I
was there. I had my position right there.
100%.
Now, if we come in the corner and I'm back here and my nose gets up into your tire and I get you out of shape, that's my fault. Mm-hmm. You can't see me.
Right.
But if you could see me, it's like the candles, boy. We're going drag racing.
All right.
Let's go. I mean, that's the way it was. I mean,
this is why.
And you know what? And that's
Steve
the way. And that's the way I always looked at it. I never asked for anything special. My name meant nothing to me. When we got out there and we raced, it was racing.
Yep.
My groove, 1 foot. That's all I ask. Give it to me.
Yep. And see, nowadays I feel like it's, you're held so accountable for mistakes. And if you have a name and you make a little mistake and screw somebody up, and this isn't a jab at any mediocre racer, but somebody that's, wins a few times or whatever, it is the end of the world, and you are the biggest, dirtiest, non-driving.
It's different now, though.
Yeah,
because social media changed it a lot.
A lot.
Not even just
Yeah,
that.
but that's because you can't walk down to somebody's pit if they run you over and punch them in the mouth
Right.
and say, you know what, dickhead, you roast me dirty.
Yeah.
And then drink beer afterwards about it.
Yeah.
And like back in Steve and Dad's days, there wasn't no cell phones.
Nope. They
Or
didn't
with
have none of
video
that.
stuff.
No.
It was you had to go down and
talk about it. Yeah.
I go down, so I have that problem. I go down and talk to the guy. Like if we have an altercation, and if it's my fault, I'll come down there and say, "Hey, man, I ran you over." You know, like that's just that's who I am. And man, my arms get to going sometimes and everything, and everybody thinks I'm out there wanting to fist fight somebody. The only person I've punched at the racetrack was Doug Smith.
Well,
that we know of.
At the racetrack. No, I'm serious. I really,
All right.
really. Well. Tyler Inman.
Tyler Inman got one.
That was he inflicted that, and I was just sticking up for myself. But I've never gone to somebody's pit and fought them or anything. That's not. I just want to come there and talk to you like a man, and look you in the face and either tell you that I screwed up or ask you why you drove me like a dickhead. You know, for no reason. Because most of the time it's like when those altercations happen, it's like we're either in the show or you're in the top 4 and there's 15 laps left. It's like, what
What are we doing here? We're both in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang it.
You know, a lot of that, you know, and of course, I never got into that and never did, you know, go down to somebody else's pit, blah, blah, blah. You know, but I'd have guys like after the races come down and they'd be yelling, you know, so-and-so, yeah, he come in there and tore up my tire, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. You know, you realize this is the guy's 4th night. You had to start
somewhere too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
we talk
it's
about
like
that.
I kind of laugh at myself. I remember my first day at work too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
It's true.
here's a prime example. I could tell you the first dry slick racetrack I ever hit. You want to hear that?
Yeah, yes,
Hell
we do.
yeah.
My dad loves this story. We go to Boone Rains out, Webster City. They didn't put an ounce of water on the track and they're racing.
Oh boy.
So we go up to Webster, and you know Boone is still. I mean, I've never been on a dry slick racetrack, so I was like, what's dry slick? He said, oh, it's this dry slick. So after the driver's meeting, I'll walk over there and talk to Rick Gusson because we didn't get a hot lap. I said, hey, I said, what's the track like? He goes, oh, it's dry. I said, it's slick. I said, oh, okay. So I go back and I asked my dad's buddy Woodard. I said, hey, Glenn, I said, what do you do with dry slick? Oh, you need to slow down a little bit for dry slick. Okay. We slow down a little bit. They drop the green flag. We go into one, and I'm right behind Rick Guston. So we're going down in there. All of a sudden, we're about 3 or 4 car lengths from the corner. This guy gets off the gas. Man, I lit him up. I drilled him so hard. I mean, I knocked his head to Illinois. Off the end of the racetrack, he goes spinning donuts.
Oh, really?
And down in there, and down around I go. The yellow light comes out, and holy buckets, man, it is slick. You know?
Wow.
It wasn't too bad. 6-lap heat race, I spun out 7 times.
Jeez.
So, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not like I started out, you know, winning. You know what I mean? Winning all these races.
Started out learning.
Yeah, you talk about learning. That was a learning curve, you know, dry slick. Whoa. Then after that, and I kind of, okay, that's it. Then we started hitting more, especially like in 88. You guys talk about how hot it is. Man, there's times in 88, I mean, it was heat index was like 110, and we were racing. It didn't, you know, they wasn't shutting down racetracks because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Here, drink another water, you know.
Yeah.
Drink some water, don't drink pop, drink Gatorade, something like that. You know? But, yeah, we went racing,
I get pissed when they cancel it down because it's too hot. It's like our men and women that are serving overseas, they ain't too hot for them to be out working, is it?
Oh, no. Yeah.
You know,
and it's
and
hotter,
that's not
hotter.
a great comparison, but
they're out there all day.
You goddamn right.
And you're out there for what?
Damn right.
You know, 5 minutes.
But they only did that a few times.
Yeah.
Like that it hasn't happened well that I know of in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I think it probably happens.
For Boone
we just don't
doing it, we don't do it very.
No,
I was gonna say I don't.
It does happen occasionally, I think. But
well, nowadays it's no different. The kids. I mean, if there's a storm coming, if the news, you know, says that there's a bad rainstorm coming, we're letting schools out an hour.
Well, you know, and that's
it's different times.
Sky's falling.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we always talked about. You know, when my boys growing up, you know, like he's talking about playing a lot of baseball. You know, and it got to be where everybody gets a trophy and that. And I always wondered how that affects the race car world. Now I see it.
Now you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Now we got to have 2 features. You know, back in the day, no. They'd line up Boone was having 3 or 4 hobby stock features.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we go up there to Boone, and I mean, the competition up there is knee deep. I mean, it is as I think it's probably more competitive back then than it is now. But we'd have 58 stock cars.
Yeah, you bet.
You know,
Yep.
and I mean, you'd run 2 B mains with, 10, 15 cars, and each
17,
and 2
18 cars, yeah.
and each B main, and they take the top 2.
Yeah.
Which was probably more than an A feature at some other
Yeah,
tracks.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then we sat there and we would go out there and you'd win one night at Boone, and then the next night you're struggling to get qualified out of the B.
Mm-hmm.
The
Seriously.
next Saturday, back and forth just like that.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, how come we can't have 2 features? It's too hard and it messes up the national points and blah blah. Well, here we are. Everybody's getting a trophy.
Yep.
Everybody's got to win a feature. Everybody's got to go to the feature. I mean, there's times like you said, I mean, back then we looked at it as how humbling.
Exactly.
I mean, it humbled. It's like, you think I'm kidding, but when I say, oh, you won all this, you won this and that, I can remember a lot of times I didn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Those
like
are
I
more
said,
memorable.
those are more memorable than actually the winning.
Those
a lot
are the
of times.
tougher ones to swallow because
Mhm.
you let
Yep.
one get away.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Or the ones that was really close, or and there again, you talk about going to somebody's pit and that, and it's like I always told my pit guys that somebody get into me and get me out of shape and pass me, and we ended up second in that, and they come in, he dirty drove you this. I said, let me tell you something. If you want to hold anybody accountable, it's everybody here in this pit area. Because we didn't have a good enough car, and I was not fast enough.
Yep.
He should have never caught me.
Yep.
That's
I
the
love
way-
that.
that's the
I
way it
love
was.
that mentality.
That's the mentality that I had.
Yes.
As a race car driver.
I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
mentality.
And we never went. Like I said, we never went out of our pit area. Like I said, there's a few times that the pit area.
You got other visits.
Yeah, the pit area come to me, but I never went to the pit area. Let's just say that.
And that's
when
we heard about the marker story. You
Yeah.
didn't have enough markers to sign all them autographs.
All them autographs,
right.
yes,
That's
sir. Yeah, there's a pack of them coming for me. But that's just kind of some of
The fairgrounds
some of
was
the
a different place, though.
Yeah,
Des
it
Moines was a different place.
Yeah,
so.
Des Moines was and that, and that's what you say. I mean, to race that track, on a Friday night, the competition level there was different than at Boone, and you had to. I felt I had to drive different at that track than I did here.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, like you could come to Boone and I could race, and I knew that I could race with Denny Stoneberger.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Denny Stoneberger, or like you said, like Larry Silva. I knew that I could get in there and get underneath there, get up on top of them, whatever it may be, and we could race side by side for however many laps.
Yep.
When you went to Des Moines, and your dad could probably contest to this, you start counting on your hand, and even though you're a woodworker and you've got less few fingers, the amount of guys that you can actually do that with at Des Moines.
That's no kidding.
I mean the driving was you just couldn't barrel it in there, and trust that his car was going to stick, so yours is going, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do that at that track.
So
it's
I
just
know
different.
Jonathan asked kind of what a guy that might have been your kryptonite or whatever, and you might not have had one.
Yeah.
But what about, did you have any guys where you looked forward to racing with them, like more than others?
Guys that you knew were going to
we
give
can
you a
already-
good time.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to go ahead and just answer one of these for Steve because I've heard him say it 3 times. Denny Stoneberger.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
I like,
Him and
yeah.
old Stoney.
Yeah.
Like I go to Austin, I love to race against Bobby Griner.
Oh yeah.
Me and Bobby Griner, man. I mean, you talk about some races. Yeah, you should have went down there, man. There were some races there that
did
me
you
and
ever-
Griner side by side for. We raced I don't know. I'll probably mess it up, Bobby, and I'm sorry, but it was like a 15, maybe 20 lap feature, and we raced all the way through the white flag. He was leading in the middle of the backstretch, and at the most important time, I was leading at the flag stand. And that's all it was counting.
You ever go over and get in on the chicken bingo and all that stuff? that he used to. You remember the chicken bingo?
Yes,
We
yes,
do that
yeah.
at my race party
Oh, do you really?
because my dad used to go down there and
Get in
you know,
on it,
who's
yeah.
this Bobby Griner? And go over to his house to have a party
Yeah.
afterwards, and they got this chicken shitting on these numbers in there.
Yeah.
We do that to this day at my race party.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. But, you know, Bobby was one, you know, and then I take my heads up. I mean, he was one that when I went to Oski, that was one that I butted up with. Before that, there was a kid by the name of Aaron Brown. And he passed away in a car accident at way too young of an age. But me and him was the same way. I mean, we fought and fought. I mean, and there again, I was a catfisher. I was the bottom feeder.
Yep.
And he always let her sail up against the guardrail. And we always started back in that 6th row, like IMCA allows. You have, you know, your rules. And I'd pass 2 or 3 cars, and I'm like, yes. And then I look, God darn it, there he is, flying around on the outside, you know, and pass a couple more cars. He'd get ahead of me, and then I'd pass him, and then we'd sit and talk and joke about it in the claiming area and everything. And the fans thought we hated each other. But we didn't. I mean, we got along.
I think most of that comes from, even still to this day, I think a lot of people think are like, oh, well, these two don't like each other. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. You see, you like one person and another person is just as good as they are, can give them a run for their money. I think you see that, and people draw their own opinions of like, oh, well, they must not like each other. That's not true at all.
Right. You know, you talk about like Soball, you know, me and him's been to NASCAR races together.
Yeah,
you know, with Liam. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you know, so
fought.
that's
But that's what racing needs. You need those altercations. It's like the Logues and the McBurneys.
Yes.
All these years. It's not that we hate each other at the racetrack. We're racing.
Yeah.
Bud, we're racing.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it is. We had you've got, you know, Jeremy Mills and whoever his nemesis. I mean, that like if you
I think it's Trevor Fitz at this point. Honestly, I think it's
if you don't have those in racing,
you
Dylan
gotta
Jeff
have
Gordon.
them. Yep.
That's what
You gotta
sells
have 'em.
T-shirts. That's what sells yourself, your race program to your fans, and
it makes the product good too.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
it does.
Whether it be on TV or you're watching it in person, whatever it is, it makes the product better.
Correct.
Yeah, but like what Jonathan's saying, you know, I mean, I always looked at it, you know, you could stand here and, you know, good friends. You know, me and Soball was good friends. But when I pulled out on the racetrack, my friends came in my truck, and that's it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Yep.
That's all I had.
Yeah, I didn't come here to make friends. I
That's
brought
right.
them.
That's
Yeah.
right. And the only ones I brought were the ones in the truck.
Yeah.
And if you wasn't in the truck, sorry.
Sorry, bud. Yeah. Well, I'm getting this 200. And the sticker.
And the sticker.
And a watermelon.
The $7 trophy we get.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we didn't even get trophies back then a lot of times, you know. We didn't. I mean, we had Audubon. Did you ever go to Audubon? Did you ever get a race that racetrack?
I've never got to race on there, but I've
that
been
was
there.
a beautiful racetrack. Put your foot to the floor and
Big old D.
oh yeah. You never lifted until you know it was, you know, checkers or
That place shut down a few years ago.
Yeah.
Sad deal.
Yeah, that's a sad deal. Yeah, but that was a good place to race. That was a track that I really enjoyed racing. Jefferson used to be a good track. The old Jefferson before Lottie got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Because was it bigger?
Yes.
It did used to be
Yes,
bigger.
it was quite a
shortened
bit.
it.
Oh, Lottie really shortened it. It really shortened. The pit area, I can remember, you know, after he had done that, and you came around down there in 1 and 2, where you drove in, that was actually 1 and 2.
Really?
Oh,
And and where you drove around and you came back in, that was actually the back chute.
No shit.
Yeah.
I never knew
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
actually,
went
with the
by.
back chute, the back chute where the back chute is now, that there used to be a Kaibo right there, and then I pitted 2 stalls over from it. I'd have been in the middle of the back chute.
Yeah, we just went by it.
Yeah.
2 weeks
You
ago?
know that. You know that's sad.
So-
You know that's you know there's a lot of good tracks that had folded up, but I mean it's getting pretty expensive.
Yeah.
You know to do the sport anymore. You know.
Yep.
We was talking earlier about motors and that. You know, how much did you have in motors? Well, I mean, we weren't doing back in the day. We didn't do hardly anything to motors.
Well, nowadays when we talk about it, though, like it's such a different time. Like everything's so specialized, and like when you buy a motor, which like Jonathan, you know, well, I mean, you still race too, but like you know, like you go to mid states, like yes, the price tag's expensive, but you're paying for specialized machines to make it, you know, as polished as possible.
Right.
You know, and you're paying for the labor of somebody that knows what they're doing, putting it together. And that's nothing against, you building a motor in your garage in, 1990 or whenever.
Sure, yeah.
It was just a different time. We didn't have machine shop. We did, but not specialized like they are now.
Yeah, well, you had machine shops that would do the machine work for you, and some of them would put motors together and that. But it's just
it wasn't quite the business it is now.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, technology's got so far in it. When I first started racing, there wasn't a lot of the stuff that you have now.
Right
now, you go up there to Harris and you buy everything to put on your race car.
Right.
We didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first decided, that we was going to go build a stock car. I mean, me and my dad went up to Gil Saunders' salvage yard and started taking front springs out of pickup trucks.
Yeah.
And cutting them down and rating them and rear springs and stuff like that, finding them what ones rated right. And that's what we did because they didn't have racing springs like they
salvage
do now.
yard sponsor was the best.
Oh, baby.
That was the best.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a guy that had a little salvage yard that sponsored me and anything that come in, you need anything, come out and get. I mean, we went out there and, man, we rated that guy, them G bodies, lower control arms, upper control. I still got stacks of upper control arms.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the actually the OEM ones and lower ones and spindles and rotors and that. I mean, I got shelves lined up in a
Jonathan gonna be calling you one of these days. He might be looking for some of them.
Yeah, he's like, I got an old Regal out there out behind my one shop. Everybody's looks at it and say, I'd like to buy it. And it's a 82 Regal, and it was a Texas car.
Oh.
I pulled the plugs out, and that thing there's not a lick of rust on that.
What do you want for us, Steve?
I always thought, when I get done racing, maybe I'll put that baby together. And I got an old 434.
Oh boy,
cruise around the block.
Old stock car motors that you used to run back in the day.
Yeah, one of those old USRA motors that I have. Yeah,
I got a Malibu. I'm a Malibu guy. I don't know why. I just love them Malibus, and so my shop is uptown, and I've had some riprap up there, and I had a brick thrown through our dump truck window, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to put this up there. So I just literally took it to my house and backed it in. And I'm like, I called Peabody's and got a tarp or, car cover for it.
Yep.
I don't have a window. It's gutted inside, but no motor, nothing, but set up for dragging.
It's a little project.
Yeah.
Little project.
I'll probably never do anything with it until I'm my dad's age.
Sure.
But you'll be happy that you had it now when you're that age.
Yes.
Instead of trying to hunt for one later. I guarantee you that.
Yes. Right. So I can relate to that. Yeah. So I hope that you do that because my dad he keeps buying all this shit. Yeah. All these trucks and older stuff. Like, it's a good project, And I'm like, okay.
So some of it's project, but some of it ends up, yeah.
Well, we got Denny Fuller's modified that they first built.
Oh, really?
My dad got that.
Oh. Yeah.
And so I was telling Denny, I'm like, hey, my dad found this thing, and bought it and whatever. And so Denny's been getting pictures of this thing from when him and his dad originally built it because it was the first modified and the shocks and stuff were up above the hood and all that stuff,
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm like, my dad's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that with it. And he has all these great things. It's, yeah.
So you talking about your dad a little bit, it actually gave me an idea. Last time I came over, I stopped over one night after we left here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw 2 '69 cars. His old Chevelle, right?
Yep.
He's got 2 of them?
Yep.
That almost gives us an opportunity to have a match race with 2 5-times.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
If we could get Steve in one of them.
They hadn't raced together since 89, 88.
I wonder if it'd have a different outcome than that Jefferson night when he was paying attention to you and not the guy in front of you.
Yeah, no, racing with his dad, there's a lot of good memories there with his dad. But I was talking to you, I can't remember the guy that helped him out originally, but we was there at a season championship in '88, and your dad started on the pole. I think I ended up like 3rd or 4th in points, something like that. So he jumped out there to the lead. Well, then I got through a little bit of traffic. I had to get around like Boyd Brown and that, which you sat there and you say, but you guys didn't realize that. You go up to Boone and start 12th and you win. I mean, the guys that you passed,
Oh,
I mean, could go anywhere
And win.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the
Right.
thing. That's what gets you. But
Right.
Your dad was out there leading, and I finally got him ran down, and this kid was I can't think of his name, but anyway, he at 2, back then the track was a little different than what it is now, but he'd run out there on the track and he'd go like this, push his hands down because I was on the bottom, and your dad would come down and chop me off, and he'd run on the bottom. So a couple of laps later, I was like, all right, so I go into one high, and there he is. He's going like this. Get up to the ice. Going back and forth. Your dad, I think he wasted 3 gallons of gas just going to the left and right trying to keep me behind him, but he ended up winning, and that's what I told you. I got out, and I told him if that kid ever ran out on track again, I was going to run him over. And he's like, but you got to understand, it was season champion. And I was like, yeah, I guess, he won the points. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice for him to win the season championship and that. But then Joe Burvert, he made it obvious. And I think he bought your dad's motor that night.
He did.
Yeah.
And my dad, you know what?
He bought your
You
dad's
guys,
motor. And I thought, well, that's even.
yeah, you guys are ridiculous. You guys remember all these people that bought your motors, where it was, or for the
Yeah,
like
for the most
certain
part,
ones,
yeah.
like
certain people.
my dad can be like that dude Thompson or Joe Burr. We go to 2 years ago. We go up to Wasota and do this week-long deal. Kurt Lund, he's up there.
Yeah.
And we pull in there, and I've known Kurt from, the jackpot, the sprint car stuff and everything. And I'm like, oh, man, there's Kurt Lund, And my dad's like, he claimed my motor one time. You better watch him, because we pull there, and Kurt's like, what are you guys doing up here, And I'm like, well, I got a sponsor. He asked us to come up, and never been to these 5 tracks. I want to knock off another 5 tracks, and here we are. Well, can I catch a ride down to we go down to the draw our name and everything, and second night, he rips my left front off, and Rex stuffs me in the fence, and we get down to the tech area, and I finished it, ripped the whole left front off. We get down to the tech area, and of course, funny story, Johnny Carter wins the race. He's this big hot shoe in North Dakota, and he passes me on the outside. Everybody says nobody will pass up there. There's a slough. You'll be fine. I take the lead on the bottom. This kid passes me on the outside. I'm running second. I'm like all over him, but this is like the guy. And green, white, checkered. Kurt and I we're just down the straightaway, and he just turns right, rips my left front off. Now I'm trying to take him out. I end up running 3rd or 4th. We get down to the pit area, into the tech area. It's underneath this thing, and I get out of the car, and I'm like, Kurt, what the fuck was that? Just like that. And everybody's like, and I'm like, we raced the whole race. He goes, I didn't hit you. I'm like, bud, really? Like, what do you mean? I was pissed. Well, it cost me $1,000 in pay.
Yeah.
And so Johnny Carter, so then I'm like, I have my little meltdown for a second. Whatever, get out, and I go over to Johnny Carter. I'm like, hey, man, good job, and I noticed it was a Terminator car. So I'm like, well, what year is it? I might have built it, because my dad owned Harrison stuff. And come to find out, I'm like, we get back to the trailer, and my dad's like, told you.
So.
You got to watch it, and I'm like,
yeah.
He was right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then it come to find out, Johnny Carter ends up buying a car from me.
Oh, awesome.
Which was, just
works.
because we went up there and, they're all like, oh, Bobcat. And I'm like, oh, shit, I've never been on this. I spun out. Yeah, it was so slick. I did the same thing. I spun out so many times in hot laps. I never spun out in hot laps.
Yeah.
I spun out in hot laps, and it was such a humbling experience. We tore the shit out of my race car, met a lot of cool people, had a great time. But, man, yeah, I can relate to that. It's just a different thing.
That's but there again, not everybody gets those opportunities.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Kurt and I, to this day, still, it's like, was I pissed at him that night? Well, yeah, I was pissed at him that night. But I went out the next night thinking, you know what, I'm kicking his ass.
Yeah.
And we go to Redwood, and I drive into the same thing, kind of like Wayne Larson deal or your deal at Webster City. I drove so hard into the back of this guy, I took him out and caused a big mayhem. And bent my rear end.
And there's a prime example. You went out the next night to race him.
Right.
And see that, and that's the way I was because, we talked earlier about this. The taking people out intentionally or doing that, it's like, no, because it wasn't the fact that you drove me dirty, which I didn't, but it's the fact that if I did take you out, it's the other innocent guys that are behind the situation that you tear up all of their, nothing to do with it, and you just cost them guys thousands of dollars.
Right.
And it's like, really?
Yep.
I mean, that's, you talked about the killings. I mean, there's one time down at Des Moines it was that way. Donnie was mad at me, and he says I didn't give him enough room in the heat race, and I was running the top side, he was running the bottom, and I don't know, I almost knocked Moses out of the flag stand when we got there, and I'm like, I didn't give you enough room. You had 7/8 of the racetrack, and you still slammed me in the door. But anyway, well, come feature time, he took us down there in the one, and I mean, he turned me around and he turned himself around, and I mean, he stacked up about 8 cars, 8 or 9. I mean, he stacked up a slew of us, and he was all mad and yelling and screaming, and he said, that's what you get, blah blah blah. And I'm sitting here and I got cars on both sides of me and one in front of me, and they lifting his car up and the right front suspension's dangling and that, and finally, I mean, we got red flag, so I just jump out of the car and I look, and I'm like, this is before the Dale Earnhardt deal, but I was looking at him going, shoot, I don't even have a flat tire. This is pretty good. I crawl back in, I get all buckled up. They start pulling cars away, start pulling forward. They peel off the rear tailpiece. I went out there and put her in the claiming area that night.
Oh, damn.
I lucked out, but I mean, the amount of cars that he tore up was not fair to them guys.
Right, sure.
Right. So that's one of the reasons that, like I said, and we respected each other, I think, on the racetrack as much as we could.
You got to. I mean, we got to race. It's not like you weren't just racing with this guy once a month.
Yeah. You're going to see him more often than
multiple
not.
times,
Yeah.
And that nowadays, I feel like that's the thing is you might go to Redwood Falls, Minnesota, and think, well, I'm not going to see that. Or some people might. They might go anywhere and be like, I'm never going to see this guy again. But, I mean, traveling's all the rage now.
Yeah, it's the big thing. Yeah, back then, it wasn't. I mean,
it was hard to get away from home back then. I mean, you really had to want it,
Yeah, I remember in 91 when we won our second national championship, I had to go to Kansas and race. And that was one of them deals, Chris Jensen,
the old double deuce.
Yeah, you remember him? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
We're good friends there, me and Chris. And Chris, and Glenn Woodard jumped in a pickup in a race car, and we left at 3 o'clock on I don't know if you call that Friday night, Saturday morning. And we drove all the way to Goodland, Kansas. I got there and I unloaded, and I'd missed the and ran the heat race and feature, and loaded back up and drove all the way back here to Des Moines, and got here at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday. Never did sleep. We just took turns sleeping in the truck and hauled all the way up. And it's like, have you guys ever been to Goodland out there?
No, I've never been there.
Oh, you've never been there? Yeah, you're like a rock's throw away from what, Colorado, and you could pee on Nebraska, I think.
Really?
Holy cow.
You're way out there in that corner, man.
Wow.
Yeah, we drove all the way. Like I said, we left at 3 o'clock in the morning, drove all the way there, pulled in and unloaded and missed hot laps.
Did you win?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The track was all dark, and I could remember that. This guy, I passed him down there in 3 and 4, and I'm looking for the leader because, I mean, it was dark enough you couldn't see. I mean, the track wasn't that well lit. And we come off 4, and the guy's waving the flag stand. He's waving the checker, and I said, "Think I needed to win." And I pulled around. I pulled in the claiming area, and this guy's pointing me out there. And I'm like, "Oh, they must do it out on the, line the cars up on the front chute." I pulled up on the front chute. I got out, and the guy said, "Hey, congratulations. Nice run." "Yeah, thanks." "Oh, I won." I didn't even realize I won. I thought I finished like second or third. But wow. We ended up pulling, because we had to go over there every night and win in order to win the national points.
No kidding.
Yeah, we was meeting a Martin Hilt was the kid's name, that he had me on national points. But we went out there, and I think we raced five times over there, and one was fortunate enough to win all 5 times.
It's still like that. I mean, it still can be like that for the national points race. I mean, last year, Jeremy Mills got second, unfortunately, but it was to a point, late in the year, and I think it was after Super Nationals. It was like for him to win the modified national championship, he was going to have to go to Michigan to race against can't think of his name. Anyways, the guy that won it, but like he was going to have to go take some wins away from it. And no, he never did.
See, and I didn't even realize that was a 91 Super Nationals, and we I'm trying to think I think some I got turned around first lap, and then we went to the tail and come back around like 5th or 6th, whatever. But some guys from Kansas come over and said, "Hey, you need to come over and race against this guy we got over there in Kansas." Well, who is it? He said, "Oh, his name's Martin Hell." I said, "Well, what's like?" They didn't like him, but I met him, and he was another racer. He was really nice. Then he offered to put us up there at Goodland. Well, you can come over and stay at our house or whatever. I said, "No, we're going to hit the road." I said, "We should be back in Iowa somewhere around 2, 3 in the afternoon, nonstop road." But he was really nice, and I mean, he knew what I was there for. But I didn't think I was going to be close enough. And we said, and we went over there, and the first I was trying to remember the first night we went racing. We raced Waukene and somewhere else, maybe Stockton, Kansas, and we won both of those. And on the way home, I was like, "Does anybody know how many points or how close we are?" Of course, Dad, he starts thinking about it, and he starts figuring it up. And the next day he tells me, he says, "The only way you're going to pull this off, boys, you got to win them all." And I was like, "Well," I said, "I probably not, but it's a lot of fun over there racing." And the people were good over there.
Yeah.
They were.
Well, Waukene's, that's like 7 hours.
Yeah, we went over there.
Too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Morgan Olmsted races there all the time, man. That's how I know. When you said that, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a long ways from here.
Well, Goodland's a lot further west than that, I'll tell you.
Holy moly.
But and that was the 91, so
right. Guys, we need to send this off to it. We're going to do one more break here, and then I want to come back and talk with Steve about the IMCA Super Nationals. I want to dive into that a little bit, and we talked a little bit about it during our dinner break, and his stats broke out, and then I admire that. So I want to, and then we also need to go over the Elmquist towing question of the week, and Steve Jackson still brought up in that talk as well.
Guess who got another win? You did.
You did. Seriously. It's
right here.
You don't know it, but you did.
We'll kind of go into this here just after we get back here. But we want to thank Central Iowa Diesel Performance, Elmquist Towing, Houseby Trucking, Barntown Brewing, Farley's Wholesale, P1P Canopy, Logue Fabrication, and the Adobe Lounge. You have been watching Watermelons and Woodchips. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Adobe Lounge located in Boone, Iowa at 915 West Mamie Eisenhower. Our hours are Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to close, Saturday and Sunday, noon to close. Come enjoy some of the strongest drinks in town and the best homemade pizzas around. Whether you're stopping in to relax, meet friends, or grab a bite, the Adobe Lounge is the place to be. See you soon.
Attention local racers, the racing season is here. Is your rig ready for the haul to the speedway? Or are you fearing a DNF before you even reach the track? Keep your truck and trailer on the road and out of pit lane with Houseby Truck Lube. From oil changes and greasing to full tire and RV service, we've got you covered. Right now, get your rig race ready and take 18% off truck and trailer services. Thanks to this special presented by KCP Racing. That's 18% off to keep your season on track. Plus, ask about our punch cards for even more savings. Call 515-266-8332 or visit HousbyTruckLube.com. Houseby Truck Lube, a division of Custom Truck Services.
Welcome back, race fans, Watermelons and Woodchips. This will be our final segment here. We'll jump into the Elmquist Towing question of the week, and it was, who is your all-time favorite IMCA stock car driver? Which there were a lot of comments on that, some of which you two apparently cannot see.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get me one of those locally hated shirts because apparently I've been blocked as much as you have.
That's going to be a new shirt. Hashtag blocked whoever on the podcast. Wow. Something. We got to come up with that. I don't know. I don't get it. It is what it is. I think it's funny. Josh messaged me earlier, and he's like, hey, there's actually 164 comments, but I can only see 153. What can you see? And I'm like, same. Yeah. So I don't know if we haven't talked to Coot. We don't know if the boys have won their game. Hopefully they did. But
they're in extras still.
They might be in extras.
Yeah.
What another great question of the week here. Steve Jackson put another tally notch in his belt as being the top driver.
You were mentioned a lot on there.
You won something on social media.
Yeah.
There you go.
And which is
crazy.
I mean, the names on this list are in Steve's era of time. Steve Jackson going number 1 here, Mike Nichols, flying Brian Blessington, Larry Portis, always known as the Hardys. Big Hardee's sticker on the side of that thing, the old 59, pink and white car a lot of the times, or yellow and blue. And then, of course, the one and only Denny Stoneburner.
Good old Denny.
What a great list to be a part of. I was actually surprised. I mean, we also on that list, Jeff Anderson.
You guys had a few battles.
Bobby Griner. Yes.
Bobby Griner. Yes.
Kelly Tapper. Rick Brown, and to
honorable mention.
Like, I flattered as shit because every one of these drivers on this list besides myself are 1980, 1990, early 2000 drivers.
Yes.
So to be a part of that, to me, that's
pretty cool.
Phenomenal.
That is very cool.
Although I didn't get a race with you, I maybe someday, Ed. I know you're still turning the wheel a little bit in the USRA stuff, and we venture out and do that. Where are you racing? Because maybe one of these days I might want to come down and run
down to
fenders with you.
I've been running
Oski. That's right.
Yeah, I've been running Oski on Wednesday.
Talk about that a little bit.
I kind of, like I said, I got grandkids and that going on now, and life's kind of thrown some curveballs at us and that, but
still running on Wednesday nights, though, correct?
Still running on Wednesday nights. Yeah, so it gives me time to, I still got the urge to do it and want to do it, and I haven't missed a season, but I've only had a couple races there right after COVID and that. My mom passed, and that kind of threw the family into a tailspin for a little while. But after that, the cars really changed. 2000 and what would that be, 2021?
Yeah.
Where they really started laying them over, and it's a whole different ball game, from what the style of racing that we did, and to be quite honestly, I've been pretty much humbled about it, and struggling in that, and not really having anybody to lean on or talk, because my generation is, pretty much them people are up and gone, It's, and no offense, but it seems to me like this generation of race car drivers are not like what we had back in the day. I can there again, I'm sorry, age has got me, but Denny's a guy that always helped him.
Stormwater?
Yeah. I picture him with the
Tiny?
With the glasses. No.
Larry?
Gray beard. Always had a beard. It might be. I can't think of. Anyway, he used to come down and talk to me.
Randy.
Yeah.
Randy. He lives not a half mile from my dad's shop.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, he used to come down and talk to me and ask me questions, and I'd tell him, He'd say, "Hey, what do what do you got for springs, or what do you run for shock, or whatever?" And I'd tell him, and I mean, it's not the fact. I mean, I never lied to anybody because I always looked at it. As I'd always tell the truth, because most of the drivers walked away thinking I was lying anyway.
How many times have I said that?
A lot.
So you just tell
seriously.
I'm serious as a heart
and they're
attack.
always like, "Oh, bullshit! There ain't no way you're doing that." I'm like,
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
This lay underneath my car and look if you don't believe me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And and every once in a while, I tell guys, just do what you want. After second, third time, you come down and I'd say, well, what have you done? Well, I went and talked to so and so, and he did. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, okay, this guy hasn't even won a feature, and you're doing what he's saying, and you're coming and asking me, and I'm telling you what to do.
Yep.
So after second or third time, it's like, well, you can just, if that's what you think you want to do, just go ahead and do it.
And they think you're arrogant for doing that.
And
it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
No, and I'm not trying to be that way. I'm just trying to, after a while, you get tired of telling the same person the same thing, and then they don't do it. But yeah, I would, we would talk and tell them, hey, this is what we're doing. And so this new car is out, and basically I'm sitting there watching cars in front of me, what they're doing, how the car's reacting and all that. And then I'm going back to the shop and going, okay, well, this is what we used to do, but throw that out the window.
I think I'll give you one of my cards when we leave after here tonight. If you worry about somebody helping you, I'll tell you what we're doing.
So
Jonathan's got a good notebook.
Yeah. And that's what, I used to have that, but like I said, that's all them deals, and the shock packages and them's all out the window. So, and we've just been sitting there playing with it. And, I went down there and I started out, running 10th, 11th, whatever. And we've just been slowly getting back up to the pace. Now, even a blind squirrel gets a nut. So, last Wednesday I ended up 4th, but, so working our way back up towards the front and that,
Awesome.
And so that's fun.
Note to self, guys, this might have to be a watermelons trip to go down so I can race with Steve Jackson on Wednesday night. I'm just saying, because I've never been able to do it. And like I said, he's one of the all-time greats. But to touch in on this Super Nationals deal, we've talked about it. The only guy that I know that's got more than one nickname, we got the Jackson 5, Action Jackson, Steve Jackson, Mr. Excitement. Everybody, also I know it was a sponsor, but Mr. Executive, they called you that every once in a while. And then he tells us a story about being the tornado. That Denny gave him when they were traveling around here. All the announcers out there, which name do you pick for the night? Is it, how do you...
All of them are good.
They are all good, yes.
I know my favorite. It was Action Jackson.
Oh, Action Jackson.
Hands down.
It just rolls off the tongue well.
I always knew when somebody said the 2J. There was no question. There was no other 2J. Even if there was, it didn't matter. I knew who they were talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. And you carried all of those phenomenally. And we've talked about your 1988 Super Nationals win. When was your second Super Nationals, and go into that, into your third and your fourth and your fifth, and which one was your favorite, or which one was the toughest one for you to get?
Man, that's something, like I said, all this talking and everything, I've never been asked that question. It's kind of hard. Yeah, I've never, nobody's ever, they always ask you, what's your most memorable? Which one do you remember the most? Well, you remember them all. I remember my first one, my second one, my third, fourth, and finally my fifth. But, the two that were probably the two, there's probably two of them that stick in my mind would have been the 93 Super Nationals, was getting qualified for that one. We didn't have we didn't get a good draw, and we fought through the heat race. And back then, I don't know how they do it now, but the top, the winners drew from uphill. And then the guys that ran second drew from uphill.
Yeah, we still do that.
You still do that?
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So, I've always said, when it comes to drawing, I drew out of a cowboy hat one time, and I pulled out Stetson. That's the type of draw that I get. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I drew, the last pill, and I was in the second heat race. So right then I knew, man, this is going to be a load.
Tough sled.
This is going to be a tough sled. And it was one of those deals where there was a top, there was a bottom, and there hadn't been anything in the middle all night. And I looked at Gordon and I said, look, I don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, but we have to run the middle. And he goes, you can't. I said, don't tell me I can't. We have to run the middle because they're going to be on the bottom and the top. I can't pass cars in the same lane. And, man, we kind of knocked our heads together, and him and my dad put a setup on that car, and, man, we drove up through the middle, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was when I'm sitting here looking at this list of guys you're going through, Larry Portis and Donnie Gustav.
Oh, yeah.
Them two were battling for the lead left and right, one on the top and one on the bottom. And, I mean, they were going at it from what everybody says. And when I got up there, I'm like, okay, you guys just stay in your line. That's all I asked because I was in the middle. Mm-hmm. And we finally got up there, and I don't remember 4 or 5 laps to go or whatever. I was just coming off of 2 or coming down the front off of 4. I just laid her down, and she just bit, and right through the gut I went right between both of them, and holy buckets, I'm sitting on the pole of the Super Nationals.
Wow.
I was like, wow. And I would have never thought that we could have pulled that off. Mm-hmm. So that was that Super National, then, of course, then, winning it, it's just a cherry on the top there for that. And then I think the next memorable one would have probably been racing Jason Crone in 96. Me and him and Lottie, the 3 of us, trying to race that racetrack. It was, I don't know if you guys probably weren't old enough to remember any of this, but Jason thought he was running the bottom, and I showed him that at Boone you can run inside the tires. Mm-hmm. And Lottie was showing me with his 4-wheeler to get back out on that racetrack. And I mean, lap after lap after lap, me and Crone, I mean, I would get inside of him, and he would. Yeah, I built Jason's. You know how it is. You're building guys' cars.
Yep.
He had an SCS car, and down he'd come on me. He'd try to hold me down as much as he could, and then so finally I'm just like, I'm bouncing over these tires, and
they're still just as hard.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what, this is something's got to give here. Mm-hmm. And I went down into one. I thought, screw it, I just go under him. If he doesn't want me, I'm not going to straddle him. So then now we're running side by side. And I'm on the inside of the racetrack, and whole Lottie's out there just throwing fingers and everything. And we ended up getting, I don't know, it's probably about 6, I don't know, maybe halfway through, just a little bit past halfway. I finally got underneath Jason and got him to finally bite and go into one a little bit harder, and he slid up, and then we ended up winning that
game
one.
Over
so,
then.
Yeah, game over.
So you got 88, 93, 96. So there's 3.
2 more.
2 more to go.
It's 88, 90.
Oh, 90.
Yeah, 88, 90, and then 93.
93.
96.
96.
And 2000.
Your last one was in 2000.
2000.
That seems like that's 3 different decades. Is that right?
Yes.
We talked about this earlier.
And I don't know if you're counting, that's 2 different millenniums.
2 different millenniums.
Yeah.
And
so that's what's funny is we're talking about it, and Steve, we're having pizza, and Steve's like, "What years was it that your dad won the Super Nationals?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, 95, 90, 98, 99, 2000, 01." And he's like, "Yes, I still got him beat." And I'm like, "What?" And he pops this off, and I'm like, wow. All right. Ryan's going to appreciate that. Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Yeah. But
we're going to have John call in to defend himself. Get him on the phone.
I mean, right now he's feeding the ducks and pulling that bait trap out. He's already asked me about it, if I was going to make it or not. But gosh dang, Steve, what a awesome deal. I mean, to be the only 5-time in the IMCA stock car class, it's a very cool deal. The rings back then compared to what the rings are now, my dad has those rings. Are yours the did you bring them with?
I brought one.
You brought one. Okay.
And you brought a souvenir.
And the stock cars we didn't start getting those until 93.
Really?
Yeah, stock car,
okay.
yeah, 88 and 90 and that we never got one. So
No, man.
Look
I
at
wonder
this.
if it's
Look at that.
So yes, okay. Now I'm jealous because my dad's are a dime, not a red diamond.
This is a ruby. So
Ruby.
He's got a diamond in his.
He's got the diamond for the modified.
Yeah,
but
this
that
is
is
the first
cool.
year. Yeah.
That is what year is that?
I gotta see this.
What's it say on the side? Which one does it say?
We've
Other
got
side.
93.
93.
That
93.
was the first
Yep.
one. Yeah, and they're all three the same. Yeah.
How long? Just out of curiosity, did they size you up like after the race and then mail it to you, or how did that work? Or
No.
did they size you guys up before and they said we've got a bunch of them on hand?
No. I mean that one there was. I can't remember where.
Fanboy.
Oh, yeah.
I trying to remember it. I think it was like a Gold Art or something like that was the name of the company that was making them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they called and asked for a ring size.
Gotcha.
That
Okay.
is freaking cool.
That is really cool.
So we've
I
got
love that old school IMCA
Yes.
logo on it.
Yes.
That's so cool.
But the new ones,
Yeah.
the new ones are really cool.
Are they?
Yes, and all of my dads are that right there, but they are the. Okay, I want to hold it too.
Go ahead.
hold it too.
Because it's got the red ruby in it. You know,
I love that old
Now,
school, like the one wing.
Did you ever wear these at like any, like how they used to go out to the national banquet
Quits and all that.
I
Yeah,
never wore them.
Yeah,
either.
everybody said, "Yeah, can you?" And I was like, "I don't even wear a wedding." I mean, I just never.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not one.
And this is nostalgic because it's like my dad.
man.
So he's got a case with race cars and everything in it, and we have 8 rings between the two of us. And so he's got his 5, which are the old school ones, and then we've got my 3 that are they're kind of like a class ring, and it says Sport Mod on the top, and it's got your name engraved in it, and it's just it's a cool thing.
Cool, yeah.
Do you have yours in
A dresser drawer.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah,
A dresser drawer.
Throw it in the dresser.
So, okay, to touch base a little bit on this too. Do you have a trophy room? Where did all your trophies go? What did you do with them all?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of.
Or in your garage?
Yeah,
or
they're in the garage.
That's
It's a room that I have that I originally, when I built the garage, it's like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be a trophy room and race car parts and tires and
right.
all kinds of. I mean, you look at it, it's a mess in there. But yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's stuff up on the walls and plaques and stuff
So,
like that.
were they given flags?
Yeah, I do have all 5 flags.
You have all 5 flags.
Really?
Now, okay,
awesome.
in '93 did they sign those flags? Remember how they used to have all the drivers sign the flags?
They do that in the modifieds. They never did that.
They
in
never.
stock- no,
See,
not
I
the
think
stock
they
cars.
should do that in
Yeah,
all
yeah,
classes.
they
That would be neat.
It would be neat.
I would have loved that to have.
Yeah.
To have all the drivers that raced in that
Yeah.
in that race.
Yeah. that year. That would have been really cool.
I feel like they may have started doing that. I don't
Oh,
quote
okay.
me, but I'll find out.
I did my second. The second flag that I got, that would have been 90. Yeah, because I got the 88 flag. And then the 90 flag, what was that gal's name that made him? She was Bill Olson's flag.
Bill Olson's wife.
Yeah, she made him.
Gosh,
I can't think
dang.
of her name.
If
but
Coty was
anyway,
here,
I
he
told her,
would-
I
yeah.
said, hey, can you do me a favor? Because I didn't think I mean, you're going to win 5. I'd have said, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
right.
you know what I mean?
Seriously.
So this is my second one. I said, hey, can you make that flag backwards? And she goes, why? I said, just because, and I'll explain to you later. If I, and if I win, she goes, yeah, I'll see. So she waited, and then I won, and then she made the flag, and she stitched it later. And then what I was able to do with it, not knowing that, you're going to win more, but I put the 88 was hung this way, and then the 90 hung this way.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You see what I mean? So I put it on there backwards.
Yeah.
It's up on my wall. They're up on my wall crossed, and I was thinking
that's neat. Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool,
Yeah.
if I ever get a trophy room or whatever. And,
Yes.
but I didn't realize that there would be 3 more.
So
behind it.
many more, yeah.
I mean, you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's just another race, and it's like people are always like, oh man, how much more pressure was it? Because your dad was John Logan. It's like, I'm my own driver.
Yeah,
or I'm my own
that's-
person.
yeah.
Like, did it weigh on me a little bit? Well, yeah, because and which kind of leads me into the next question: Does your son is how old?
Well, actually, the 9th he'll be 31.
He'll be 31.
Yeah.
No interest in getting in a car.
You know what he did? ran. I had an old stock car there, and he was running that Iowa Enduro Series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And he raced in that, and this would have been. He was kind of when he was out of college because he went to college to play baseball. So when college, school was over, he came and we had the car set up and he did some racing there, and then started having him do some other racing. He was racing down at Des Moines on some Friday nights and that, and no offense, but I mean, he was doing good. I mean, he was starting to learn.
Yeah.
And I mean, not everybody. It's like I said, he picked up the baseball and could throw it 91 mile an hour. Not every high school kid can pick up a ball and throw it 91 mile an hour.
Right. Yep.
And that's why I tried to explain to him. Not everybody can get in one of these things and drive them.
Right.
And I said, and the thing is you can't be me, because you never will be me.
Yep.
And I'll never be you.
Right.
So be you for who you are and do your thing. So, and like I said, he was doing, was he stand? No, he wasn't stand out, but he was learning.
Yep.
And I could see the improvements that was going on. And then he decided that, college and after college he got married, and now he's got a daughter and that, and he just
That's
took a
great.
different path.
Yeah.
So
that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, so now I got 3 granddaughters and another one on the way, so I'm trying to figure out which one's going to be my racer.
Right.
Watch out, boys.
Watch out. That's right. Absolutely, man. And so, you get the 5. I mean, how many national titles do you have to your credits?
I have 2.
Two
Yep,
national titles.
Yep, I
What
got
years were those?
88, the first year that they had it.
Yep.
And then, what was it, 2 years later in 90.
2 years, 90. So not only one time, but 2 times he won the national title and picks up the IMCA Super Nationals.
In the same season, which is a rare thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, that's very hard to do.
Very hard to do.
Yeah, to do both of them in the same. Because that's, but what people don't understand is the grind
Sure.
that it takes on you. I mean, like I said, we was looking through some of them books. I told you they was wanting all kinds of stuff for that Iowa Hall of Fame
Museum.
Yeah, the museum, and or just being inducted into it, and they want all these stats and everything.
What's that like? Being inducted into that Iowa Hall of Fame. I mean, going up there and seeing how they do that deal, it's like
that
almost chilling.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is I looked at it as, when I got up there and I started looking at it, and I'm going, this is pretty cool. But I could think of about probably 150 other guys that deserve it more than I do, is what I thought. I really did, because I like, this thing is cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys deserving of this that, that should be there.
Yeah.
Should I be? I don't know. But, I could, it's like I said, I could think of 150 other guys, and my name is not in there that really need to be inducted into that. Is your dad in?
My dad is not in.
See, that's what I mean.
No.
And
I think
stop and think about some of these guys that are not, he's one that's, he's done everything I have done, but he's done it in a modified.
Right. I think there's I don't know how that deal works, but I know that there's a lot of people, like my dad just got inducted into the Stewart Hall of Fame here a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And I didn't. We didn't even know that he was even on the ballot.
Yeah.
Until we seen it on one of Troy Schute's awesome posts about inductees, or however the hell you say that.
Inductees.
You were close. I was close.
Yeah.
I was going to let it go.
You were, but then I seen you go, eh.
He might have been, but Garrett wasn't going to let it go. I saw
Garrett
his face.
was going to get him.
Yeah. So, but that deal is so cool, and I agree. Like, I don't know how they go about that, doing that. However, they do an excellent job with it. I mean, it is phenomenal.
Another guy from when I was a kid era is Joe Merrifield. He raced at Des Moines in that, and he's not inducted into it. And this guy's won the World 100.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, he won the World 100 back in like 72 or 3.
Wow.
And he's not even inducted in. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, I'm not trying to, don't take me the wrong way.
Yeah.
When I say that, I could think of, 100, 150 other guys, and my name's not on there.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of lot of race car drivers out there that really are deserving of it. That I feel.
There's so many people that fly under the radar too.
Yes.
That like they don't make a big stink about anything. Like they might not ever have problems with anyone, but they win. That they're good for the sport. Like your grinders. Like people that show up week in, week out. Their whole entire career. And that's not to say it. Most of them don't want any of the credit. They don't want to be recognized. Right. They want to stay in their own lane. They want to be left alone.
Yep.
You're a good example. You've done a lot of cool stuff, but
that's right.
But you're sitting here telling me that you can think of guys more deserving, whereas from my side of things, I'm like, this might be the greatest racer I've ever met in person.
Well, seriously though, that's how special it is. And when this Mason kid came to me and was like, "Hey man, I'm pretty good friend, or my family's good friends with Steve Jackson," I'm just like, "Oh man," because I mean, like I said, we follow along and see on the race results and stuff and everything, but once you left IMCA, you kind of vanished from the racing, of not seeing you. And the Des Moines thing, like I grew up in Des Moines on Friday nights. That was your place.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, man, where did he go? And then all of a sudden we're going to have a podcast with the man.
The man.
So very, very grateful. Steve, it's been an absolute wonderful show. Thank you very, very, very much.
No problem.
I know we probably all kind of seemed like fanboys and stuff, but
it's what we're good at.
These guys are, right. Josh is way older than we are, and so he started liking you long before we did. But
1999, if you want to know to be exact. I went to my first race in '96 in Stewart. I graduated in Stewart. Never knew there was a racetrack.
Really?
Yep.
He was a farm kid.
I was a farm kid. We'd be at home on Sunday nights. We lived just west of Redfield.
Okay.
And we'd be at home, and I'd hear this noise, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And my dad'd be like, "Some damn race cars over in Stewart." And I never made the connection. Went to school there, graduated, had a friend. Her dad raced modifieds. Bob Earhart was his name.
Oh, yeah, Bob Earhart. Yeah, no, Bobby.
And she took me over to their garage, and I walked in, and he fired that thing up, and the methanol lit my nose on fire, and I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I got to be part of it.
Yeah. He later then dated that chick for about 2.5 years.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, he wanted to, but she did not. So, but yeah, that's what kind of got me into it. But I remember going to my first race, and I remember seeing you race at Stewart, and I'm like, and it's one of those things where you just don't get that memory out of your head. You see these guys running 2 and 3 and 4 wide on this little racetrack, and you're like, I don't know how the hell these guys are doing that. And then one day I got lucky enough to be part of it and crashed the shit out of everything I owned and just whatever. But I watched you at Boone. I would stand on the catwalk, and I'd watch you come off the flag stand, just about kissing the concrete, and then right down against the tires. And I just called that the Jackson line. Well, there's other guys that ran it, but they didn't do it as good as you did. And I watched and learned. I never learned how to do it. I could watch you move guys out of the way, and they never knew they were moved. That impressed the hell out of me. And then when I finally did get to meet you, I came down. I was talking to Doug Seidel. He was
Doug,
pitted next to you.
Yep.
Doug and Allison.
Doug and Allison.
Allison and I graduated high school together.
Okay.
That's the Forrest family.
Yes.
And when I say the Forrest family, they will watch this podcast every second of it. I guarantee it. And they'll be very happy that we did it.
Yes.
But I came down there to talk to Doug, and that was the first time I met you. And I was like, this is like one of the nicest people I've ever met. And that you would not know that you do what you do on the racetrack. And from there, I've been a huge fan ever since. Cool. So it's an honor for me to sit here and talk to you. And you are very deserving of the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
I agree 100%.
I'm glad you made it in. That's very cool.
Yeah,
we got to be up there for that. To see the red and white Skornovaka's
car
2J up there on the screen, and
a
lot of years of racing. And the sport of racing owes you a debt of gratitude, Steve. And I want you to, from me to you, I've spent a lot of years working in it, and it's better because you were in it. So, and are in it.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But like I said, it was just like I said, growing up with it, and I've always teased my dad, and that was one thing that I always said. I could remember when I told him, I said, "Dad, I want a race car." I want to go racing. He just looked at me and goes, yeah, you think you could be fast. I'm like, he goes, it's a lot harder than what you think. And I'm like, come on, let's try it. No. And then finally, that 1 year, Woodard kept his modified. He didn't build a new car. And then and he's like, Larry, it's time to build the kid a car.
It's time.
Yeah.
That's what started it.
And the other thing is you want to know about the bandana.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Yes.
Everybody wants to know about the bandana.
Let's hear it.
It's a very embarrassing situation, the bandana. So we're racing at Marshalltown, and when I was younger, and they're starting to come back, but I had allergies real bad. And I was like dust and pollen, and that was not good to me. So I think it's like the second or third, fourth night, whatever, we're at Marshalltown in the lined up feature, and we're going down the back chute, and they're flickering the light, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, up with the visor. I sneezed all over the inside of that helmet and couldn't see nothing. Had to flip the helmet up, and so ran a couple laps with the shield up, and they threw a caution, and I pulled it back down, and I'm wiping it with my gloves and everything else, and I'm like, this isn't going to work, And Woodard told me at the time, he said, well, y'all just put a handkerchief on. And I was like, what? He said, put a handkerchief on there, like them train robbers used to do. He said, that way if you sneeze it, I thought, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So I put that thing on, and I never took it off.
Jimmy Gustin calls me last night because, we're super tight.
Sure.
And he's like, I was like, you want to race tomorrow? And he's like, nah, I don't know. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, well, Steve Jackson's going to come on the podcast. Oh, no shit. He's like, I hope he wears the bandana. He goes, dude, that'd be so cool. And I'm like, yeah. We've been trying to get him to come on because just his story, and just what he has done in IMCA racing and how many people follow Jimmy Gustin. And he's just like, man, it's not my idea. And I'm like, I don't think it was Steve's. Like, he's never done a podcast either, probably. And I'm like, we're harmless, and he's like, well, what if I say something wrong? I'm like, you can't say anything wrong. It's like just a bullshit session and to tell us your story. But it was just, I had not forgotten about your bandana, but I'm like, if he shows up with that bandana, I'm going to be like the dumbest fanboy ever, because it just brought back that memory of you walking in with that duffel bag and all your shit. And like I said, the car's on the trailer, the ramps are down, hasn't even fired it up yet. Maybe he had, I don't know, but and then all of a sudden it's like,
where'd he go?
He's getting in the car and strapping in on the trailer. Okay, all right.
And headed
and then he goes
lane.
out and kicks their ass. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's just a test that everything is done in the garage,
Yes.
I always said, why go out and sling mud and everything else? It's not going to tell me anything. It's not, and don't get me wrong. There's times in the heat race that sometimes I paid for it,
Right.
I went out in a heat race and, it didn't run right, or, I pushed a push rod through a rocker arm, or I developed a miss or something like that, maybe if I'd hot lap, we could have chased it down. But
see, and that's where I'm at, as I always hot lap, just because of that reason. I've been burnt so many times. It's like we work on our car 4 or 5 days a week.
That's the thing, though. Races are won in the shop.
Yeah.
They always have been.
Yep, they always have been. Yep, always have been.
And people, that's Kyle Free. He's a family member of mine through my step-parent, and he's just getting into racing, and he's been running really well lately. And the first couple of years was a struggle for him, and just 2 weeks ago, we're at Boone, and he's standing over there, and all the sport mods are out on the track. And I'm like, why aren't you out there hot lapping? You have not won a feature race yet. You're struggling. You've, like this and that. And he's like, I don't want to have to clean my tires. And I don't, it's more laps on the motor. And I'm like, I said, man, when you quit spinning out every week, then you can quit hot lapping. Because I mean, nowadays the track prep stuff is, back in the day it was you walk across there and you had mud. I mean, it was like sticky gumbo. They didn't farm.
Exactly.
And so it was more pointless then, in my opinion, than it is now, because now the tracks are a little more prepared. No, I don't mean prepared.
Well,
they're just not as
Yeah.
you know.
That's another thing that always irritated me is like, I always built my racing around, being able to read the racetrack, from heat race to where I think it's going to go in the feature and prepare for it that way, and to have somebody come out and tear that all. Back in the day, your dad would tell you, Sarge, that guy could prepare a racetrack like none other. I mean, that thing was
Dad talks
glass top to bottom. If it did, even though it was dry, we could still race 4 wide and not have a problem. I mean, that's
Why do
the
you
way it
think that has changed from back then to now? Is it like because back then, like what I take from it is there wasn't as much equipment back then as there is now, like the grader, or not the graders, but like the tools that they're using now,
Right.
and it was just a water truck. Most of the time, race cars had to go out and pack the racetrack when they got there.
Yep.
Versus now, like when we go to Boone, they've got 6 track packers,
the packers out there doing their job.
A couple weeks ago, we had to go out and it rained and everybody was kind of him-hawing around, and I got right in my car and we went out there, and all of a sudden the whole pit area is on the racetrack.
Yep.
Why do you think that it's changed from then? How it was then as far as the racetracks being racier. Seems like now we almost get some more rubber, just anywhere across the country versus what we used to 25, 30 years ago.
I suppose this, technology and the fact that I think maybe the cost of it now. Guys are putting in so much money into these cars, and they're costing so much more that back in our day, to be able to tame a dry slick, I mean, it was an art. You can ask your dad.
Yes.
A lot of guys. I mean, there was guys that when that thing dried out, you knew it's what they say. You turn it long enough, the cream's always going to come to the top.
Right.
Right. And as that track dries out, here comes the cream right up to the top.
Yes.
And they keep talking about, well, there's only 3 or 4 or 5, 6 guys winning, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't matter what type of racetrack you're going to put on. There's going to be a certain amount of guys that's going to.
Absolutely.
That's their track.
Absolutely.
They're going to win, and it doesn't matter. But with the tackiness and that of a racetrack, and now I think more guys can be more competitive. I think it makes guys that if you miss a little bit on a setup on a tacky racetrack,
you're off.
Yeah, but you can be off a little bit, but you can still be good.
Right.
If you're off on a dry slick, dude, you suck.
You suck. Yeah.
And you're even sitting in the car going, I suck.
You're right.
I don't want to go in another corner like this again.
But we don't pull in because we still think we can learn something.
Oh yeah, and you do, and you learn something. I mean,
Most guys,
what it is.
You can see too when they're fighting it. They actually start to go backwards faster just because they're trying to drive it harder, and it's like you can't do that. You have to slow it down.
Yep.
And
sometimes slower is faster.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
And then and I think for like I said, for what these guys are doing today, I think that's what a lot of it ends up being is more guys can be more competitive, because it used to be, I could go out and I didn't have to worry in a heat race. I was looking for that 4 heat races, so I was looking for that top 3 or 4 spot.
Yep.
Because I was either going to be starting 12th, being a point leader, you're going to start 12th, or I'm going to be in the next row behind it, according to my heat race.
Yep.
And I knew I could pull that out on a tacky racetrack.
Right.
Because my car was not set up for that tacky racetrack. But I knew I could get to that point. And, like I said, even a blind squirrel gets a nut. You get a few heat race wins here and there. But come feature time, all those guys that went out and won the heat race and the pit guys are down there high-fiving and blah, 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 they make 0 changes. Where we're like, okay, all right, this is where I think the racetrack's going to go, so let's do this, that, and the other thing. And then go out there for the feature, let the track come to you, and you're off to the show.
We talk about the Boone Speedway and how when they started farming the racetrack,
Was that like 97?
Yes.
Do you remember why? Do you remember how that happened?
I don't remember, but I know you're going to tell me.
I can remember it because I hated it ever since.
Yeah, right. Well, and it was what I remember of it was because the racetrack was drier, and that they wanted to bring more guys. They didn't want the Steve Jacksons winning all the time. They wanted the field fillers. No offense to anybody to that, but I'm saying they wanted them guys to be able to come to the racetrack and say, you know what, I can race with Steve Jackson at Boone Speedway.
I think this all came back in '97. It was earlier in the season, maybe around now time and of the season, and we was racing, and it was just going to be a normal night at the Boone Speedway, and Mother Nature says, and she dumped some water on us. Not a lot, but a little bit. And Lottie went out there, and he took the old spring tooth and tore that racetrack up, and they got the tractor out there, and they started packing. They started yelling about guys getting out there and packing, and we packed that thing in, and man, was that a night. I mean, man, we had side-by-side racing, and I mean fast, but sometimes you can't beat Mother Nature.
Right.
What she gives
Best
you.
rainfall.
Exactly.
It is.
And I mean, that track was smooth and fast, and I mean throughout. I mean, go back to the hobby stocks, to the stock cars, to the modifieds. I mean, every show was a phenomenal race. And since then, I think, they're like, oh, hey.
Light bulb
went off.
Something.
Hey, let's just start tearing it up every week and
lay it back
in and that. And then they started doing it like after the heat races or B mains.
Yep.
I don't know how they do it now.
Yep,
but,
same thing.
Right,
Same thing after the Bs.
They tore it up. But I always thought that they should have, to me, they should have tore it up a little bit earlier and let it get packed in because, that first one or two features out on the Speedway don't get that good of a.
It's almost like
I don't know.
burn.
Maybe they've worked that in a little bit better
we just
now,
talked
but
about
that's it.
Not that long ago. And especially for the mod lights, they go first, and they're so little, But we're basically letting the first two features kind of get the track finished as far as being ready goes.
But my deal is so then you take it, and then are you sacrificing them guys for your racetrack?
Maybe a little.
I mean, right. I don't know what the condition.
Yeah.
There's a couple times, in there, and it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And I'm sure by now it's worked out.
Yeah,
a lot
for
better.
the most part though, and like I said, we just talked about this. Is you can set your watch to it most of the time. What Boone's going to be like.
Oh yeah.
See, that's what I mean.
Jonathan and I have talked about this too before, kind of at length. Is you can show up and what you're going to get, and really the only thing you're guessing at that point is how windy it is, throughout the evening. That's the only thing you're really taking into account.
Or the clouds.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, in the evening time as we get closer to features and all
absolutely.
that, if it's cloudy, yes, but when the sun starts to set, it's not really a big deal. Maybe in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 is,
I tell
protected,
everyone that farm session is the most important thing of the night if you're a race car driver. Mm-hmm. If you are not up there watching that, because I've watched it because I was always, in my sport mod days, I was the second guy on the racetrack.
Yep.
Well, there's times that they might shoot water out the front, which is way less than what comes out the back on the bottom or the middle or the top. And it might be the next week they might be shooting water out the ass end on the bottom and only spritzing it on the top. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm going where they're spraying it out of the front because there's not as much water up there. And then also Rod will throw a little trick in on you. You got to watch Rod. Rod's the track doctor. He's the one controlling the whole deal. He might, after they lay the water down, he might tear it up. He'll tear it up top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever way he goes. But then if he goes around 2 times in that same lane, or if he moves down and then he'll come back down and then he'll come up and be like, the top's a little greasy still yet or whatever. So they'll tear that back up again and lay it back down. Or they might only do 1 corner, or sometimes they won't even water the front stretch. And it's that, to me, is very important to know.
Very important, yeah.
Because, and then when we have a Mother Nature rain, it rains, when they're doing the man-made water, it's on the racetrack only.
Yep.
Mother Nature rain is dousing the tops of the corners. It's making it all seep down into the ground versus just on the racetrack ground.
Correct.
Because we all know how hard Boone Speedway is. Steve just brought up the fact of how smooth it was in 1997 before they farmed shit.
Yep.
And it's still that same way. It's almost like we're racing on asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times like when they put the wood chips in and start loose, or trying to build that stuff back up. This new dirt that we had hauled in is a different dirt. It's a gumbo dirt that's got some sand in it. It's made the racetrack either really, really good, or it can get one laney-ish at times.
Yep.
That's like Rod last night. I told him after he thought I was yelling at him, I went over to the pit shack, and I'm like, man, I thought the racing was pretty good, I'm like, especially in the heat races, like he's like, kind of got away from us a little bit in the features, and I think where that mistake is happening is like when I was in a sport mod just 5-6 years ago, the sport mods weren't running clear up on the top of the racetrack. Mm-hmm. They were running middle to bottom. And the modifieds could go out there and they would push that cushion up, even though it's not a cushion, but it's that cushion.
Yep.
And then the stock cars did have 2 lanes, to where now the sport mods, they're running clear up on the lip. Mm-hmm. So then the modifieds get out there, there ain't nothing.
Right.
There's no lip. Mm-hmm. Now, when you were racing there all the time, it was a punishment to go off the top because it was so steep.
Yeah.
Now they've got it shelved off, because they've had some bad wrecks, and which I understand that.
Yeah,
I totally get it. You got to address it somehow.
Yeah.
But it's just weird, and the new dirt and everything is great, and like I said, it's just to be Rod and to try to hit that track prep perfect every time. There's no way.
Yeah. There's no way you're going to hit. And like I said back earlier, that's what I was talking about, where when I went to beat the racetracks, and that's what I'd watch. Just like you, where you watched the farming session. I didn't have the farming session, but what I watched was I like to get out there and start watching the B mains, and to see the dust, where it was at, and how
shiny it was getting.
Well, and how far it was, because that, you get that forgiving, it's like, oh yeah, there's 2 grooves out there, but there's a layer of dust on that first groove. Outside of the bottom, I mean, you hit that, that's just like ice.
Ice,
right? Yeah. Oh yeah. And you're having a lot of problems. So it's just kind of depending on how dusty it was getting and where the groove was at, and no offense, but like at B mains and that, I actually watch like the middle of the pack and back guys, and the reason why is because those are the guys that really didn't have the patience to run around on the bottom. Yeah. So
they're fighting to go forward.
They're fighting to go forward, but yet they're blowing it in there hard. So then you got 3 or 4, maybe 8 of them, or however many you got. They're out there, the groove up, trying to run it, and they're blowing all that dust up. And I'm like, perfect. Now it's going to be 2 lanes,
right?
Because you can drive in on the outside of somebody because they got all the dust blowed up off of it. Right. So that's some of the things that we had to look versus what you're looking at.
They were doing the work
just
for
different.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
And two, nowadays, like at Boone, you can tell, like, when the mod lights go out there, same deal. Like, if they start blowing dust on entry, there ain't going to be nothing left by the time the stock cars get out there.
So then you know what,
I know what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
When you could just sit there and watch, 2-3 laps of it and go, all right, boys, here's what we're doing. Let's go. And I was the same way.
Legit.
Yep, legit. I'd do the same thing. Just say, all right, here's what we're doing. This shock's coming off. That one's going on. We're doing this, doing that. Whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. Yep.
I gotta ask you. I
Yes,
gotta
sir.
ask you one more thing before we can finally let you go back home because we've had you here for a long time.
Shit.
So we talked a little bit off camera earlier about when you would get claimed. We said you lost around 100. I think.
Yep.
And you got a few back.
Yep.
But what was so I have a buddy, Terry Pruitt. You probably remember Terry.
Oh yeah, I remember Terry
years ago.
racing against Terry over there.
He told me a story about they got claimed at, I think it was at Boone, and they went home and got an old short block, cleaned up the crank with some emery cloth, and threw it in. Went to Jefferson, got claimed, got it claimed.
Yeah.
You got any crazy stories like that where you threw together a claimer?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch. There was one night that we ran. We had got bought. Where did we get bought? We got bought at I can't remember what track was that, but at a Napa Series race, and they raced on I think we raced that on Monday night, and we went home and pulled another another block just like he did out, and started kind of doing this and that, and it had split along the outside of the block, had split because it froze.
Sure.
And the water cracked it, so we kind of ground that baby up and threw some JB weld on that thing, and it was just a stock 350. Sent the heads down to Woodard. He was working at Rissman Machine Shop, and he stuck stock valve springs in it, and he just put 3 or 4 shims underneath them to make it so it would hold up a camshaft, and threw a cam in it. We went down to Oski, and we won, we didn't win, but we made it to the claiming area, and we're sitting there, and that thing got so hot. I mean, we're sitting in the claiming area, and I'm sitting there, and Dad's, "You want water?" I said, "It's beyond water. I mean, it's clear down to Stuart Warner," and you could hear the radiator just going shaking in the truck. And Dad goes, "Well, I hope that," he says, "There's 3 of them back there."
So he's hoping for it.
He's hoping for it. And sure enough, we got bought.
Oh, man.
And I mean, he cracked that. We dropped the radiator, and I bet there wasn't a cup of coffee or water in that thing. And that thing was steaming, and he literally had 2 grease rags all folded up, holding on to the starter to take it to the trailer because the starter was that hot.
Oh, man.
Dumped it off, and it had that crack on there. My dad, we got it up on the trailer, started leaving. My dad said, "Hey, you see that crack there?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "You might want to put some stop leak in her." The guy's eyes got this big around.
Oh, that's
My dad
great.
used to do that shit all the time too. I don't know if you were at Boone the night, but they laid a big old snapping turtle right on the dash of my dad's modified one night.
Yeah.
Because they'd been bought so many times,
Sure.
and it's like back in them days, I mean, we were changing motors. My dad was changing motors after hot laps sometimes because you'd blow one up, or after a heat race, you'd go out and run the race and stick a valve or something stupid. And it got down to where we changed motor in 15 minutes.
Yep.
Everybody had their own little area, own little spot, and that was with a chain hoist.
Yeah.
On the back of the toter home. My dad
had the toter home.
One of the first guys with a toter home, which wasn't, I mean, Bob Rawson, that we built it. It wasn't that we went and bought it. I mean, it was nice, but it was like, man, I just remember, running that chain thing up and down, and then all of a sudden we're rolling out pink valve covered motor that said "FU" on the inside of it because we knew we were going to lose it.
Yep.
Or welding shit together on them, and just doing all kinds of weird stuff. And nowadays,
but them's the things that made it affordable for racing that people don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can pull, most like you said, a lot of race car drivers were some types of mechanic, or a lot of them worked as a mechanic, or could work on cars and that. And they could build their own engines and that. Nowadays, you can't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because those motors, I mean, because I go out and run, we would build a motor and say, hey, this is only going to probably make it 4 or 5 nights. It's probably going to blow up. And if it made it 6, great. But usually the chances are it was going to get bought.
Right.
So why dump all the money into something that is going to get claimed?
Right.
So off we go. So
yeah.
You didn't have a lot of money in that. There was more money in the car, shock springs and all that stuff versus what was underneath the hood.
Sure. Yep.
And nowadays they try to do the same thing with the 350s, the 10-to-1s. But when a guy's got a, he's like, oh man, I popped a motor. Yeah, that's only $7-8 grand. Whatever they are now.
Yeah.
It's like
that's silly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I could go home and used to be able to go home and build one in a night.
Yeah.
We had parts, throw them together here and there and make it work. So.
Yep.
That was kind of
a different time. It just was.
Yeah. And a lot of guys doing the claiming. I mean, it's like, why do you buy me? You look, who they are, and they got way more. I mean, you're looking at that list. Larry Porter's, he claimed me one time up there at Boone. And Denny's. I think it was Randy. We talked about it. There.
Randy.
He come down and was talking, and he says, he said we was up at the bar, and he said, Larry come into the bar up there, and I asked him, I said, what did you get out of there? He said, and as soon as Larry started going, he goes, let me guess, you got a 60 over 350. He goes, yeah. It's like, yeah. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, because he was running like Boone every other week and that, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks later he finished up there, and I claimed his 377 TRW piston 377.
Steve's like, yes.
I'm like, yeah, but it's like, oh, yeah, I got this motor, but what am I going to do with it?
Right.
You know, because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I got it, but it's like, I don't want to run it. Because if I take this down to Oski, or if I take it to Des Moines or whatever, and somebody buys it, then now I'm running 377s. So you think I'm selling motors now?
Right.
Yeah, it really goes through. So we ended up trading them. We ended up parting them motors out, and some of those we parted out and switched guys like Bill Davis and that.
Yeah.
Gave him some of the parts, and I got some cams and a set of heads and stuff that they thought was junk, and I'm like, hey man, I don't make it in a stock car or nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of good stuff. But
That's awesome.
But
All right, boys.
so
Well, I tell
it's
you
a good
what.
time.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Happy to have you, truthfully.
Seriously, guys, episode 37 here with Action Jackson, Steve Jackson. A lot of great stories here on Watermelons and Woodchips. We're going to thank all of our great marketing partners with the Watermelons and Woodchips here. Central Iowa Diesel Performance, Houseby Trucking, P1P, Canopies, Elmquist Towing, Adobe Lounge, Moffitt's Ford,
Logue Fab.
Logue Fabrication. We wouldn't be able to do this without all of our listeners out there as well. Make sure you get out there and follow our YouTube stuff. Check out, we're on Apple Podcast, our merch store. We that should be coming up.
Yeah.
And Eric and the gang over there, they're already doing a ton of racing T-shirts and stuff already. But that merch should be dropping here within the next few weeks. Everybody that pre-ordered, we can't thank everyone enough for engaging in that and picking up those awesome T-shirts. With that being said, I don't think there's anything else we could sit here for a couple more hours.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Steve,
I'm
for
sure we
sure.
could.
Easily.
But man, Steve, we really, I personally want to thank you for coming up and doing this deal. One of the all-time greats in the IMCA Class 2 Tough to Tame stock cars. And man, I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully we're going to make it down to Oski so we can rub some fenders sometime.
There you go.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd
So,
be a good time.
well, make sure you follow us on Watermelons and Woodchips on our Facebook stuff. We got the Harris Clash coming up. Couple weeks. We got the Bumblebee Nationals coming up. Some big events.
Bumblebee Nationals will be Bruce Badgley's last event.
Bumblebee Nationals
He
will
did
be
let me
Bruce
know he's
Badgley's
retiring.
last
He is retiring.
event.
Yep,
Wow.
that'll be it. So, should be a memorable night that night. So,
Thanks for the memories, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Seriously, him and
He's
Denise
done a
come
lot,
down,
yeah.
and he had a picture of me, wanted me to sign, and I'm like,
That's awesome.
it was just bittersweet because
Isn't
it's
it,
like,
though?
man,
Yeah. Yep.
I want to sign it because I love you, Bruce and Denise, but at the same time, it's like this is like saying goodbye,
Yeah.
you know. And it was just very, very touching, and just to hear how excited Bruce was to like almost get it off of his shoulders in the podcast. Like I didn't realize that he was actually going to announce it on the podcast when he was
wow.
retiring. I don't think a lot of people
cool.
did.
That's cool.
It was very cool. It was very
Yeah,
touching.
yeah,
It was.
yeah.
He almost got a little tear jerky on us about it, and it was like
so
it made.
did you.
I know. Well, man, that's like
I know.
I grew up,
Yeah.
and Bruce is an icon to the sport.
Yeah, exactly.
So to hear that and to see his emotion,
Right.
and his like he's happy but it's sad at the same time. I don't know. I guess maybe if you guys are still alive when I get to that point, I'll tell you how I feel about it too.
All right.
Yeah, it's something that
You know.
you don't think about it.
You take
You don't
things
think
for
about it now.
granted.
You don't
yeah,
think
you
about
take
it
things for
now.
granted.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sad to say, but I mean, you look at like Kyle. I mean, you'd never know.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
hopefully Bruce has got somebody coming in behind him.
He
He kind of took over for Dean when Dean left. You know what I mean?
yes.
So I mean, it's just you look at race car drivers like, oh, who's going to fill in when
Yep.
so and so leaves or does. Think about that. Just like you said, there's so many people involved in the sport.
Yeah, Jane
Who
at
comes in?
Icon Images. I'm sure she shot some stuff for you. Bruce, I mean, when he said that Jane was going to take over his thing, like, for someone to pick you, like, hey, will you be the lead, you know, whether it's photos or whatever scenario it is, that's like, especially for how long Bruce has been doing it. She doesn't have big shoes to fill. I mean, she does, but that's not how I look at it.
Yeah.
But what he did, like at Super Nationals, like, it's going to be so weird that it's not there this year. You know, the camper and all that stuff. So
The tables.
the tables, yeah. I'm excited to see what Jane is going to do. I know she takes a lot of pride in making good shots and being all over that racetrack, and she does a very, very good job. And Bruce must think so too if he's passing the torch to her. So,
That's awesome.
I think she's going to feel a little pressure, which is good because not everybody gets to be the number one at the Boone Speedway. So
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty big shoes to fill there.
yes,
I mean, you guys think, oh, you just go down there and take some photos and that, but like you
We
said,
talked about it earlier. Like
Yeah.
it's a niche.
Niche.
Like
It's a
there's
niche.
a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, 'cause I remember, like, better shut this off.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
it's cool.
You're fine.
But like Dean, I remember him bringing photos to me. So here, you can have this one. I said, well, what's wrong with it? Well, if you look, your car's not quite centered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Here, Dean, here's a couple.
But
no, don't worry about it. It's not
just
centered.
like, but just
But
like
that's
you
his niche.
racing that's your craft, and you're
Yep.
not satisfied unless it is the best you can do.
Exactly.
And that's theirs.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And that's what I mean. It's people think, oh, it's just taking photos, but all the little things,
Yep. All the little things
that he would show me on my photo. Look at that. Okay.
Yep. For sure.
Whole new deal.
Anyways, but all right.
Awesome.
We'll wrap it up here. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the things. We're everywhere. Thanks for letting me MC tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did as good as Coty does. I'm not as knowledgeable. I haven't been around the block as many times as he has. But thanks for having me, Steve. Thanks for coming on. I know.
No problem.
these
Thank you
two
for
were
having me.
fangirling.
Appreciate it.
They were fangirling pretty
Oh, yeah.
hard. so-
Yeah.
Yeah. We will be for
Make
about
fun
the
of me, I
next
don't
week.
even care.
Yeah.
I don't care either.
Okay.
Yes. Anyways, but yeah, episode 37 in the books, and we'll catch you next time on Watermelons and Woodchips.
Welcome to the Adobe Lounge located in Boone, Iowa at 915 West Maney, Eisenhower. Our hours are Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to close, Saturday and Sunday, noon to close. Come enjoy some of the strongest drinks in town and the best homemade pizzas around. Whether you're stopping in to relax, meet friends, or grab a bite, the Adobe Lounge is the place to be. See you soon.